I've got some mimosas.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, November 28th, 2021. This is your award-winning Gibbo Nation Media Assassination episode 1403.
This is No Agenda.
Building back Botswana better and broadcasting live from the heart of Texas Hill Country here in FEMA Region number 6 in the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where the secret word is Omicron, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Now, was your first thought Omnicom? Did you hear that? Or that's what I heard?
I said Omicron.
No, you said it right.
No, I said Omicron.
You said it, I'm just saying, when I first heard it, I was like, Omnicom?
Oh, when I first heard it.
Yeah, when you first heard it. And Omnicom being one of the...
First heard, I think, Omicron.
Oh, yeah. Omnicom being one of the largest advertising agency holding companies.
Yeah.
That's what I heard first. And then Omicron, and then I got, Micron. I got that from some friends.
Omicron. I put in the newsletter some of the variations. But it's easy to remember.
Mm-hmm.
Just make sure it spells moronic.
Yeah.
If you make it into an anagram, and if it does, then you got the right spelling.
Buddy of mine works at Micron, so I said, Micron.
Micron.
And then, oh my God. So this was perfect timing. I'm a little pissed at us for not seeing that this was on deck. It was so obvious.
We saw it. We mentioned it. We talked about it.
No.
We didn't see it as the next big thing.
We didn't see it at all, because what happened was this felt a little different to me than your typical sequel to a Hollywood blockbuster, because they did it. It kind of launched through the financial markets, which was, if planned, was brilliant, because on a day like Friday, where I think it's half a day of trading, and it's you can really move the market a lot on a Friday after Thanksgiving if you have enough money to push around. And so, the Dow down 900 points, 1,000 points. So that, of course, got had the attention of all the news networks. So they were putting up on the right-hand bar, they were putting Dow down, new variant, Omicron. Whoa. So it felt kind of to me like the timing was perfect. The market's a little bit overheated, perhaps, minus, or what a great way to buy in at the, minus 900, and then Monday we'll make a killing. We have increasingly more reports of heart issues from people who've been vaccinated. The vaccine hesitancy is bigger. The Merck pill failed. That was also whoops. But then Pfizer Mectin, they're ready. They're on deck, and we'll hear about that later from our favorite FDA boy. And of course, it's great for control and to kill us, obviously. But do you think it'll work this time? Can you roll out this blockbuster again?
How about this for an idea?
Mm-hmm.
The vax, which they've oversold worldwide, then made $32 billion extra money in profits. When, of course, as we discussed before, this should have been something that should have been given to the public at large.
Yeah.
And let's roll out, and it seems to be somewhat controlled by PCR tests, the way they do them and all the rest. You can do a lot. And also by faking, because you give people extra money if they die in the hospital from COVID.
Yeah. So
they fake the numbers as best they can.
Yeah.
But now they're stuck, and because this stuff is hurting people with the hearts, especially the kids.
Yeah.
So let's bring out a variant that the vaccine can't touch.
Even better than that, as I'm reading through the symptoms of the new Omicron variant of coronavirus, listen to the symptoms. A number of heart-related complications may occur, including heart failure, arrhythmias, heart inflammation, and blood clots.
I've got clips, and then they just got them. They don't know what this thing can do, so they can make it into anything they want.
No, but
let me finish
not...
by saying,
okay.
Well, I want to finish the scenario. The scenario is so we can pull back, because I've said this before, they've got to pull back. They can't just keep giving people 1 million injections, especially when it's not a good product. Now you pull back because the vaccine didn't work. Isn't going to work on Omicron. It's not going to work. So then you roll in the Pfizer therapeutic.
Yes, exactly.
And then you're done. You're done with the vaccine. The vaccine experiment's over.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think the timing was perfect because also on Friday, or at least the news was reporting it, and this was a financial news day for me, is the Merck pill that turns out to only have a 30% efficacy. Oh, okay, so we'll write that off. Good work, Pfizer marketing team. I just want to return to these are the official medical definitions of what this new variant does. Again, this fits perfectly in line with what you're saying because, we need to at least cover up what's happening. So let's just blame it on some new variant, which the World Health Organization knew about in July. This is not something that is just discovered. So again, a number of heart-related complications may occur, including heart failure, arrhythmias, heart inflammation and blood clots, disorientation, dizziness. That's all kind of normal. COVID fog, and here's my favorite, delusions, strokes, brain hemorrhages, cognitive disorders, psychosis, peripheral nerve damage, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder are some of the symptoms reported. Which is bullshit. And in fact, we have this is the chair of the South African Medical Association on BBC talking about what she is observing there with Omicron. Oh, why is that not firing?
I think it's a hasty decision. It is like a storm in a teacup. I am practicing in Tshwane, where the epicenter is. And so far, what we have seen is very, very mild cases. So not sure why we are all up in arms. We know that there's a lot of mutations, but no one can tell us at this stage whether it means something or whether it's just going to fade away.
Okay, so they're not seeing it, interestingly enough.
Well, first of all, I've got my clips from NBC, CNBC, and also NPR, and I've never heard this litany of horrors that you listed there. I don't. Where'd you get that? Because nobody else is saying it. I mean, what you just played is more common.
Mm-hmm. It's from. Hold on a second. I have the link here. All about the new variants. This is from, who are these guys? I think this is an Indian Medical Association. It's quite extensive. So it could also be bullcrap. Who the hell knows? I mean, the whole point here is to be afraid. And let me just continue on with your thought there, which I wholeheartedly agree with. If we really want to know if Pfizer could be benefiting from this, we might as well just turn on CNBC, since the Pfizer board member, former FDA chair, Scott Gottlieb, is always on. And you'll just have to get past his...
He actually get a paycheck. He gets a paycheck.
He probably does get a paycheck. You're right about that. All right, so we have to get past his fast talking, but what he says is interesting.
Down 927 now on the Dow. When will we know the answers to these questions? How long will it take to know whether vaccines do hold up, for instance, against this variant?
Yeah, there's some in silico, so some modeling data.
Okay, let's stop right there. In silico. I love this term. Do we know what in silico means?
I've never heard it before.
In silico means in silicon, as in a computer
they did
chip.
A computer analysis. Yeah.
Yes, it's a computer model.
I've heard this term, not you mentioned.
It's modeling, but it sounds so
been
good.
Doing a lot of that with this.
Yeah, well, climate change is in silico. If you want to just talk about it, in silico, in silico.
Yeah, there's some in silico, so some modeling data floating around right now among virologists that suggest...
Oh, that's real scientific. Is it just floating around, or is it published?
...that you don't get complete escape
it's just floating
with this.
around.
It's just floating around. So is this guy lying or what? It's bullshit.
So some modeling data floating around right now among virologists that suggests that you don't get complete escape with this. That's way too early to draw conclusions from, because we don't have good enough in vivo data in humans to really have accurate models. We'll have neutralization studies in about 2 weeks, meaning that we'll have studies from laboratories showing how well the complement of antibodies induced by vaccination neutralizes virus. I would expect to see some decline in the neutralization given the characteristics of this virus, but I wouldn't expect to see a situation where you get something that falls off a cliff, where the existing vaccines just aren't effective against this, aren't clinically effective against this. So I think we're going to retain some potency and enough potency in a country like the United States, where there's a lot of pre-existing immunity to protect against another huge wave of infection. And
it's really interesting. Now he's saying, "Oh, we have enough natural immunity." This is a very interesting turn for Mr. Gottlieb.
The risk that you see.
Where he's used, I didn't hear the word natural.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I just heard him say that.
To see a situation where you get something that falls off a cliff, where the existing vaccines just aren't effective against this, aren't clinically effective against this. So I think we're going to retain some potency and enough potency in a country like the United States, where there's a lot of pre-existing immunity.
Pre-existing immunity.
Yeah, from the shot.
Oh, okay.
To protect against another huge wave of infection. And that's really the risk, that you see prevalence decline as we get into January and February. And then we have another sort of B117 situation where you saw prevalence coming down last winter. And then when 117 started to circulate, all of a sudden we got that second spike in March. And this kind of ruins the spring. Too early to say that's what's going to happen. I think that's sort of a worst case right now. But I think it's way too early to say that's what's going to happen. And the other thing is, people who've been infected with Delta probably have pretty good protection, and people who've been infected and then subsequently been vaccinated, all the studies that we've done show they have very robust protection against these new variants, and so they're in pretty good shape as well.
That is a perfect lesson in how to talk for a minute and a half and say absolutely nothing. But she comes back and tries to corner him in part 2.
And just to be clear on how long it could take to modify a vaccine to address a new variant, if this one does evade the vaccine, I think Pfizer mentioned today 90 days.
Script.
Yep.
Which is very short, I know, probably in the scheme of developing vaccines. But is there any way that can be even short?
Wow, nice little tail laugh there. Anyway, I know it's short, but it's on the script anyway.
Which is very short, I know, probably in the scheme of developing vaccines. But is there any way that can be even shorter? And how does that work? Does it have to go through clinical trials again, or can it just be re-released like the flu shot?
Yeah, it'll go through trials.
Nice. I didn't catch that the first time around. Or will it go through just like the flu shot? That part of the script is new. I like it. Yeah, where did she say that?
Even shorter? And how does that work? Does it have to go through clinical trials again, or can it just be re-released like the flu shot?
Ooh. Is that true? The flu shot just gets re-released and they don't have to go through clinical trials each time?
I think she's right.
Oh, wow.
I think, and it would be on the script because it's something, so you set everybody up for the fact that, you don't have to go through any trials at all.
Well, let's see what the answer is.
Yeah, it'll go through trials where you expose people to the vaccine and you make sure they're getting sufficient levels of antibodies that are going to be protective against this new variant. So it's not going to require a big outcome study like previous vaccines. Probably, I think that this would be done with so-called immunogenicity studies. That's sort of 90 days, 100 days from initial coming up with the construct to commercial scale production, and companies are already coming up with the construct. So I think we're going to be in a position, if we need to be, to have vaccines widely accessible in time to deal with any wave from this new variant. If this does start to threaten the United States, it's probably months away before we see a real uptick in the cases of this new variant, given just some of the past timelines with how B117 spread and even the Delta variant. It took a sufficient amount of time, and we're on this very early owing to the good work of the epidemiologists in South Africa. We have a very good early warning, which shows the world's getting better at this. So I think that there's sufficient time, if we need it, to develop and manufacture a new vaccine.
Geez, I thought I had the pill in here. I thought I was 100% sure he was talking about the pill. Because he was complaining about that being... hold on a second. Did I misplace that? He was complaining about it not being authorized yet. I think that they really want to push this towards emergency use authorization as soon as possible. And we've already bought them, I think. Or at least we bought some of them.
Yeah, no, 10 million of them, according to Biden.
Yeah, enough for the deep state.
Yeah, enough for...
Everyone else can suck it. But I thought this was really daring of them to go. I mean, do you think who's going to believe this? I mean, the coincidence of this happening on the day that they locked down the Netherlands again, 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. It's nocturnal, kids. Stay home.
I don't want kids kissing. Yeah.
Well, if people...
Well, everyone's buying. I mean, I see no evidence at this point that people are pushing back much, except where they had the big... Melbourne, I guess, had a huge
protest. Yeah.
That really surprised me a lot. I have 3 series of clips about this from CNBC, NBC, and NPR. And they're all kind of, it's just like, they got nothing. So they're talking this up. I think that you can just see it being kind of a setup. But the first one I want to play, if you don't mind.
No.
Is I want you ever see the Corbett report?
Of course. James Corbett, of course.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Play a Omnicom QA, Adam Corbett. Is it Adam Corbett?
No, it's James Corbett.
James Corbett. Play this.
The United Kingdom, Germany, and Italy are all reporting confirmed cases of the new Omicron COVID variant today. It's the latest evidence that Omicron is quickly spreading far from southern Africa, where it had been identified earlier by scientists in Botswana and South Africa. Yesterday, Omicron was declared a variant of concern by the World Health Organization. The U.S. and other nations have responded by announcing new travel restrictions and testing requirements for arriving airline passengers. Let's underscore this. There's still a lot we don't know about the new variant. So we want to begin today by going through some of the big questions that remain about this strain. And to help us with that, we have once again called upon Bill Hanage. He's an associate professor of epidemiology at Harvard's T.H. Chan School of Public Health. Bill Hanage, welcome.
Thanks for having me on the show, David.
For starters, can you tell us the basics of what we do know at this point about the Omicron variant?
Okay.
Did you hear that little line in there?
Yeah, the chant.
Thanks for having me on the show, David.
No, I didn't hear that. David, hold on a second.
Bill Hanage, welcome.
Thanks for having me on the show, David.
For starters, can you tell us the basics of...
Okay, so what's your theory? Why did he say
this?
That?
This is not Corbett. This is NPR. They got some sound-alike guy named David.
Oh, you suck me in. Wow, that was good.
99% of the time when I try this stunt, and I have done it probably a dozen times or more.
With this particular guy?
No. Every time I try the stunt of trying to trick you into thinking it's somebody else, you catch it because you're so tuned in because your ears.
Exactly, because of my ears, yes.
And
Wow.
I blew this one by you. I win one.
I'll give you 1+. Oh, I just want to hear that voice again. Holy crap.
Is there any reason to think that the Omicron variant...
Well, okay, here's what I was thinking. As I was listening to it, I'm like, how can James Corbett be all in on this and have some epidemiologist like he's seriously going to ask this guy about this bogus variant? That's what I was thinking. That's how real it was. That seemed. That's what I thought you were going to say. It's like, why is James Corbett bringing on this? I know typically he would just excoriate it, especially if someone from the Chan University. Like, no. Yeah. So, wow, that guy is good.
To overcome the vaccines that have been plunked in people's arms and are currently...
All right. Well, clearly the troll room knew it much better than I did.
I wasn't fooled. The troll room caught it?
I wasn't fooled. All right, good. Okay.
Well, okay, let's go. Anyway, the guy, he's still named David, and he's doing this report, and you can't not hear James Corbett, unfortunately. But let's go to part 2 of this. It's Omnicom QA2.
I got it.
Well, I want to start by reiterating exactly what you just said, which is that a heck of a lot that we don't know. What we know is that a few days ago, the South African authorities reported that they were seeing a large number of cases of a variant with a very large number of mutations, way beyond what you would expect, and that they had reason to think from a particular set of test results that this had not spread just in one small location, but which was in several regions around the country. And shortly after that, we heard that cases of Omicron had been introduced to Hong Kong and also Belgium. And basically things have been moving very quickly since then, and we're still scrambling to try and figure out exactly what sort of beast we're dealing with.
There have been COVID variants before, like Delta, that have caused concerns. Why is this one considered particularly worrisome to scientists?
See, now the guy doesn't sound like Corbett anymore. It's when he speaks faster. When he was doing the intro, he was much slower, and it was part of that cadence that fooled me. But now I hear it. That's not Corbett, I think.
like yourself?
Well, a lot of it is to do with just the sheer number of mutations it has, because it's much too early to actually have really good epidemiological evidence. But if you look within the spike, which is the protein which is targeted by the vaccines, we see that there are about 30 or more mutations, 10 of them in the receptor binding domain, which attaches to cells alone. And lots of these are mutations we've seen before. And so if you put them all together, this looks particularly worrying. However, I want to emphasize that how something looks doesn't necessarily translate into how it behaves. I can give you an example of that.
Sure.
Do you remember beta?
Yes, I do.
Beta was the variant that everybody was worried about before because it was the one that was best able to sidestep neutralizing immunity or neutralizing antibodies. However, beta didn't really go anywhere. This is only the most recent thing, and we're only starting to learn how transmissible it is. It looks like the answer is quite transmissible, but exactly how transmissible, we don't know yet.
I mean, the fact that this is the information that they're giving out from the experts tells us that this entire panic is bullcrap. Hey, is it possible that the financial markets were just melting down and they needed to cover it up with something? Could that be happening? This is crazy.
I don't think so.
This is like crazy.
It's a good one, though.
Yeah.
But they're going to melt down when they melt. When they melt down, you'll know it. It was definitely a one day. I don't think it'll continue. It's just a panic because when the market is overblown like it is, and it will maintain that overblownness for a while. It gets skittish.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So somebody comes out with this announcement. We harken back to the early part of 2020. Oh my God. Oh, okay.
Well, the reason I ask is because what I saw, because I saw it right away. I was up at 6 a.m. and I saw it, and I saw the CNBC news, and that was what drew all the other guys in because the pre-market down 900 pre-market. You know, the Dow futures, whatever you call it. So it felt like that's where the panic was created. And so that could, I mean, maybe it's just as cynical as a bunch of traders like, hey, let's really panic the crap out of this thing and we'll buy in at the bottom and Monday we'll be rich. I mean, that seems almost logical at this point. Because of Friday.
Will be rich is probably
because of Friday. Friday's a short day.
But it's only 900 points. It's not like it went down 9,000 points. Now there's something you have to, something to write home about.
Look, if a stock is going to go up $5 and you know it's going to go up $5, you could make some good money on it. Anyway, that's just my thinking.
Well, this guy goes on with pretty much the same thing. Let's switch over and skip a clip.
Can I play a quick thing from the KLM flight that arrived at Schiphol Airport?
Oh yes, great.
The Netherlands has many daily flights to South Africa, as does the UK. From colonial historical perspective, South Africa, they still speak a version of Dutch.
And by the way, I think it was our country that announced we're going to stop the flights, but it's just like this other thing you've mentioned and complain about. Why don't we just stop the flights immediately? Why do you we're going to stop the flights next week. Well, if it's that big of a deal,
yeah.
Why don't you just shut the door? You know how you can do that? To send the flights from South Africa going into Schiphol, send them back.
Well,
just send them back, refuel and get out of here.
So this video got out, went viral, and I got it through a whole bunch of different channels. So I'm thinking, this was well pushed. This is people arriving from South Africa at Schiphol Airport. The captain is speaking.
So that means for KLM, the Johannesburg flight and also our Cape Town flight cannot enter the Netherlands without any restrictions. So what that means, that is what they are finding out right now. And as soon as I have that information, of course I'll let you know. But that is at the moment the information I can give you. And I can imagine that you have several questions, as I have as well. But that is the situation we are facing. I'll be back with information as soon as I have it. I'll try to keep you informed as good as possible.
Yeah. So, 61 cases, 19 with the new variant. Lock them up. Lock down the country. Perfect timing.
So let's go to. Well, actually, let's see what this guy has to say, because there must be something in here. I put this in here for.
The number three clip?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any reason to think that the Omicron variant could overcome the vaccines that have been plunked in people's arms and are currently coursing around their...
Plunked in people's arms? Nice one, NPR.
Vaccines that have been plunked in people's arms and are currently coursing around their bodies.
Coursing around their bodies, through their veins, in their heart. It's not supposed to be coursing through their bodies, bro.
I think it's unlikely to think that it will totally overcome it. Having said that, I don't think that we know enough at the moment to be absolutely sure about the quality of protection that they will provide. Let me take a step back and just point out the really important things that we don't know and that we're going to be finding out. The first thing is going to be exactly how this virus interacts with neutralizing antibodies. We're going to get that information on a timescale of a few weeks. The next thing we want to know is how transmissible it is. That'll be a little bit longer, but the epidemiology will be done and we'll be starting to figure that out a little after that. The data upon the severity of infections is going to take much longer to come in. And that's the thing which is really important, because even if you're able to cause infections in vaccinated people, I mean, Delta could cause infections in vaccinated people, but they were mild. They were milder than they would have been in the alternative unvaccinated state. And that's what really matters.
Ahead of this long holiday weekend here in the U.S., there were already concerns that as people are traveling more, there could be spikes in COVID cases around the country. Now there's news of this new variant. What should Americans be paying attention right now and thinking about the pandemic?
One thing that I think is worth remembering is that we've for a long time had people talking about when the pandemic is done. But pandemics don't end in that way. You don't get a sort of 21-gun salute to say, ooh, it's over. Instead, it's a long, drawn-out process of fighting whatever the virus throws at us next. There's still a lot of stuff that can be done. Vaccines are likely to be at least somewhat protective and quite possibly very protective against it. So if you haven't got your shot, get your shot. If you have, just be prepared to roll with what happens and what comes at us next.
Sell some more shots before you go.
Wait. I got to add a little short one to that. Did you see Boris Johnson?
Oh, God. I probably missed this one. He's just on the guy. Is it even Boris Johnson? He seems shorter to me. You sure? I think they may have swapped him out for a body double.
I love the newsletter picture of Little Britain of that look just like Boris Johnson sitting on that's the cast of Little Britain. Those guys are fantastic. Anyway, here's Boris Johnson. Quick intermezzo here about Omicron.
We don't yet exactly know how effective our vaccines will be against Omicron, but we have good reasons for believing they will provide at least some measure of protection. And if you're boosted, your response is likely to be stronger. So it's more vital than ever that people get their jabs and we get those boosters into arms as fast as possible. So from today, we're going to boost the booster campaign. We're already planning to do 6 million jabs in England alone over the next 3 weeks. And now we're looking to go further.
There it is. Boost the booster campaign. Of course.
Okay. Boost the booster. Let's go to CNBC. Omicron CNBC clip.
Tonight, we begin top story with that troubling new variant first detected in South Africa.
I think that's NBC.
This is Omicron CNBC.
CNBC. That's exactly what it is.
Do you want me to continue playing it?
Well, I know what happened. Yeah, I'm going to explain what happened here to the studio audience. I put CNBC down by accident. And I edited out on all these clips to see, except that one.
Okay. So it's still the right clip?
Yeah.
Tonight, we begin top story with that troubling new variant first detected in South Africa. The World Health Organization calling an emergency meeting today, designating the new strain a variant of concern and assigning it the Greek letter Omicron. World leaders reacting swiftly to the news. President Biden late today announcing a ban on travel between the U.S. and 8 countries in Africa. Nations across Europe and Asia enacting similar restrictions. Health officials warning mutations in this new variant could make it highly transmissible, though there is no data to suggest it is any more deadly. Vaccine manufacturers now scrambling to test the effectiveness of their shots against this strain. And fears of yet another wave of COVID sending shockwaves through the financial world, too. Wall Street was with one of the worst days of the year. Our Dr. Blackstone is standing by to break down what all of this means for you at home. But first, here's NBC national correspondent Gabe Gutierrez.
Tonight, concern over a new highly transmissible COVID variant, first identified in South Africa, is rippling across the globe.
Wait.
The White House...
Who says it's highly transmissible? As we've just heard from the guy that was talking to Corbett, that they don't know anything. But yet, NBC is already saying it's highly transmissible.
Of course. That's what...
I'm just pointing this out.
Yes.
How do they know? They psychics?
Mm-hmm.
Tonight, concern over a new highly transmissible COVID variant, first identified in South Africa, is rippling across the globe. The White House imposing new restrictions on air travel from 8 countries starting on Monday. A World Health Organization...
Stop. Why, if it's so highly transmissible and crazy, we have to wait till Monday to stop the air flights?
Because we want maximum confusion on the day when the markets open up again. I don't know. I mean, it's clearly bull crap. It only comes out at night and only as of Monday.
I'm sorry. I keep losing sight of that obviosity.
Yes, it comes out at night and only on Mondays. So just roll with the flow, baby.
The White House imposing new restrictions on air travel from 8 countries starting on Monday. A World Health Organization panel has just named the strain Omicron and classified it as a variant of concern.
Oh, man.
So they're loading up, NBC being, of course, the worst of the networks when it comes to any sort of news coverage that is objective. First of all, has anyone ever, except you, ever asked the question as to why, when they're going to do these things, they always, let's put it off. Like they did the same thing with the January 4th mandate. Well, we're going to put it. If it's that important.
They did an interesting move in the Netherlands. I watched the whole press conference on Friday, which is really, really disappointing for me in so many ways. So, it's like, we're back to masks everywhere. Now, you remember there's still a vaccinated, unvaccinated segregation. So you cannot go anywhere even up until 5 o'clock without a QR code. And I think between 5 and 8 p.m.
Makes nothing but sense. The Dutch are the Afrikaners. Apartheid is in their blood.
Absolutely.
It's apartheid. That's all it is. It's apartheid. Why doesn't somebody call it what it is? It's apartheid.
And there's lots of people who are calling that, for sure.
Oh. Okay, never mind.
So, but then, this was Friday. He said, we will be starting this Sunday. And he followed up by saying, I hear what you're saying. If it's so incredibly necessary, why not do it tomorrow, right away? And he said, that's because we need to give all the restaurants time to reconfigure down to 30% capacity and to cancel all of the reservations. So they still left a day in between. And this was just before this new so-called variant came out. The timing is uncanny. There's something about the Monday. There's something about this has to happen now for some reason. Is it also right after they start vaccinating 5 to 11-year-olds? Are they falling down dead? We haven't seen it yet.
We haven't heard anything. I mean, give them a minor little the doses less. Maybe who knows? We'll see. I think the parents are irresponsible who rush toward this thing. Let's play the Omicron NBC 2.
Today, Belgium was the first European nation to confirm a case. Around the world, a growing list of countries are now limiting travel from southern Africa. Though more study is needed, experts warn that Omicron might be more resistant to vaccines.
South African epidemiologists think that this is more transmissible than the Delta variant.
What is the likelihood that this variant is already in the U.S.?
It's already here. Unfortunately, we now know from previous variants that by the time we pick it up in Africa's and in the European Union, it is already likely.
All this comes as the U.S. just crossed another sobering milestone in the pandemic. More than 780,000 American lives lost. There's also a surge in new cases nationwide, an average of more than 90,000 new infections each day.
We are now bearing the brunt of delayed wave. Delta has really knocked us for a loop.
There's one other thing. I'm just It just kind of hit me. So this, if you read the news stories, they discovered this Omicron variant in a man with untreated HIV. Did you read this?
No, I'm going to hear about it, though.
No, I don't have a clip. So,
well, just read it then. This sounds reasonable.
No,
so the guy had HIV.
That's every single news report says one of the variants was found in possibly in an untreated HIV/AIDS patient. The reason why I bring that up is Pfizer's pill will consist of an HIV drug.
You're right. Good catch.
So, and that's in every single report that I've seen written, not audio. So maybe that's just, maybe that's been launched in there. I don't know.
Interesting. Not sure how they're going to make that work, but okay.
Well, if people start showing up with HIV because this variant gave it to them, God knows, John, and people will believe everything. Oh, shoot, man, it gives you AIDS. All right. What's that? And remember, Magic Johnson with his cocktail just popping up all of a sudden 20 years later. Let's all get used to the fact that HIV drugs are normalized and you can live with it. So maybe that's it. Something's up.
Let's listen to we'll figure it out. If anyone can figure it out, it's the No Agenda Show.
Yeah.
No, we will.
Mm-hmm.
We always do. So let's go with Omicron NBC3. This is a shorty.
Pfizer, Moderna, and J&J say that they're already testing their vaccines against this new variant. And Pfizer says it expects data back within 2 weeks, but its vaccine may require an adjustment if the variant continues to spread globally. Morgan.
Adjustment. Ooh, new Coke. It's new Coke.
Well, they're going back to old Coke. One of the two. Let's finish. This is the last clip. This is clip 4.
And for more on this new variant, Dr. Uche Blackstock joins us now. She's an NBC News medical contributor, an emergency physician, and the CEO of Advancing Health Equity. Dr. Blackstock, now that scientists have identified this variant here, when might we know how quickly it spreads and if it's more dangerous than the current variants that exist?
Hi, thank you so much for having me on tonight, Morgan. So essentially, we are going to have to see what happens over the next few weeks. There's going to be significant studies that need to be done within laboratory and analysis of real-life data of this new variant to see exactly, is it more transmissible? Is it more virulent, meaning does it cause more severe disease? And does it evade immunity, meaning will the vaccines be less effective against this particular variant?
Doctor, as Gabe said, the White House has announced some new travel restrictions today to try to stop the spread of Omicron. But do you think that it's already here in the United States?
Yeah, so unfortunately, we've seen in the past travel bans are not that effective, and unfortunately, by the time that we see this variant across the world, and we've seen it now identified in a number of countries on different continents, it likely is already here. It was picked up in South Africa because they really have an excellent genomic surveillance system there. We probably will ultimately see this variant here within the next few weeks.
That's an interesting point about their surveillance system. Didn't every single variant of concern, the Beta, the Delta, and now Omicron, all come out of Africa?
I think Delta came out of India.
Oh, right. But that was racist to say that. And it's okay to say South Africa all the time now. And obviously everyone saw that they jumped over the G in the naming scheme, which gives Frau Ingraham something to moan about. My God, the amount of airtime spent on, they didn't do it to suck up to China. That's why they didn't do Xi. Oh, I know, I saw that you did that, Fauci. Wow.
You have that clip?
I wish.
Oh, well, maybe I'll go see if I can find it. But a couple of things that I'm noticing.
Yeah.
One is the airlines are not happy with this idea of,
hell no. The travel industry is
cost
outraged.
them a mint.
Yeah.
And so, especially those long haul flights from South Africa. And so I'm noticing this kind of wimping out on the idea of actually just shutting it down. And one of the things you keep hearing is, well, it's already here. No, there's not one case of it that we have identified, but
no, New York has already declared an emergency.
They shut the whole place down.
Yep.
It's already here. What, do we have a case that shows us here? No, we don't. But we know it's here because we just know it's here. And Fauci said it. That woman said it. In a previous clip, somebody else said it. They're all saying it. And in a clip I don't have, but I heard it said, is, and I was kind of hinted at in one of these clips, these restrictions on travel don't do anything. It shows that it doesn't do anything. Bull crap. But okay, if we want to buy into that nonsense, fine. We just let the stuff fly around the world the way it does. And that's my rant.
Well,
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm the more I look at the different news reports, I was just rereading New York as we were talking about it. Here's the common thread that I also saw in the Netherlands. The precautionary this is from New York declares state of emergency to combat, to arms, to combat the Omicron variant. The precautionary measure announced Friday is intended to help hospitals in the state prepare for a potential winter wave caused by the new variant.
Flatten the curve.
Now, I think that right now, because the Prime Minister, Rutte of the Netherlands, he was saying, every sentence he said was, the hospitals. Maybe, yeah, it's about you and keeping you safe, but the hospitals. I think the hospitals, which traditionally always get busier at the end of the year, hospitals are supposed to run at 98, 99% capacity. That's what they're supposed to run.
Yeah, that's the way you make money.
Now they're down 10 to 15% on staffing. There's you can just go ahead and do any kind of search. You can see emergency rooms shutting down purely because of lack of. So,
my doctor just quit Sutter Health, and she never said why specifically, but I think I know why.
And is she still practicing for you, or is she?
She's going to be gone. She's going to be retired. I know where she's going.
Where's she going?
The way Sutter Health works, you have to go through them. It's just miserable.
Where's she going?
I don't know. She's quitting. She's just retiring.
Oh, she's done. You need to interview her. Get your Zoom out. Come on, man.
I can't interview you. I've got a Zoom, and it will record everything you say, and then I can use it on the show.
The Netherlands also. Do you know what they call their medical team that is dealing with COVID?
Tiger Team.
No, it's the OMT. And this is
OMT.
Yes, they call it the Corona OMT, and it's an English acronym. Ready? This is the Dutch in the Netherlands for the Outbreak Management Team.
Huh? That's weird.
It's Hollywoodish. Yes,
Very.
We have an outbreak management team. Shit, man. That's oh man. Oh, okay, that sounds pretty bad. There was a movie, an Italian movie in 1963 called Omicron, in which an alien takes over the body of an Earthman in order to learn about the planet so his race can take it over. Well, that's always fun for a couple of tweets. And we might as well just listen to Ground Zero, Dr. Maria van Kerkhoven, as she announced the variant of concern they've known about since July, but now this is the announcement that made it all kick off.
Based upon the information that we have, particularly from South Africa, they have advised WHO that this variant should be classified as a variant of concern. So today we are announcing B11529 as a variant of concern named Omicron. This variant has a large number of mutations, and some of these mutations have some worrying characteristics. Right now, there are many studies that are underway. There's a lot of work that is ongoing in South Africa and in other countries to better characterize the variant itself in terms of transmissibility, in terms of severity, and any impact on our countermeasures like the use of diagnostics, therapeutics, or vaccines. So far, there's little information, but those studies are underway. So we need researchers to have the...
I hear more and more these terms. Hold on.
Ability in terms of severity, and any impact on our countermeasures like the use of diagnostics, therapeutics, or vaccines.
It's now generally accepted we have therapeutics, I think.
That's a good catch.
So that means that you can have that nothing can be no more vaccines under emergency use authorization. I believe, because there's a therapeutic.
I think, you this is an assertion of yours.
Mm-hmm.
I do not believe that it's founded in facts.
Okay. No, it's not a fact. What part is not factual?
I don't know that that's true. I think they can give you emergency use for it. Well, one of the things is Pfizer's going to be under emergency use. The Pfizer pill.
Yes.
That's going to be emergency use. So I think you can continue.
But that is a therapeutic.
Yeah, but it's under emergency use. So you can.
No, but vaccines, I think it's specific to biologics.
You're going to have to get me a documentation.
At
this point, At this point, I'm skeptical.
Okay.
Of
troll room, grab me a link for that, because
troll room.
I got no time.
Useless in this.
No,
this
the troll room. That's an easy one. That is an easy one to get, because I believe that to be regulation or perhaps law. So we'll find out.
That's true. Any impact on our countermeasures, like the use of diagnostics, therapeutics, or vaccines. So far, there's little information, but those studies are underway. So we need researchers to have the time to carry those out, and WHO will inform the public and our partners and our member states as soon as we have more information.
And so that's what kicked it all off, huh? That's what all the hoopla was about. And with this, we were talking about therapeutics. We got to come around to ivermectin. We had a nice note from Sir Mark and Dame Astrid about Japan, and they attribute a lot of the very low case count, it's like 5 or something in all of Japan, to masking, which I think you and I kind of disagree with. And a lot of fellow Japaner dwellers chimed in. Japaner dwellers.
I like that, Japaners.
Japaners. And there are a couple other things. First of all, I got a lot of pictures from people that were sent to me of lots of Japaners walking around without masks, so certainly not universal. And we have to also recognize that the Japaners are much healthier than most in the West. Their diet is completely different.
Diet's totally different.
Completely different. Yes, it's the fish is doing wonders for them. And luckily, we have a recent report from Dr. John Campbell, everybody's favorite YouTube doctor.
Well, warm welcome to today's talk, Tuesday, the 23rd of November. Now, we want to look today at what can only be called the Japanese miracle.
I have to ask, why is this guy still on?
I really don't know. The question is valid.
In fact, every time I see him, and I see one of these, and there's a couple of them that are dynamite. The one on ivermectin's a killer. I download them. I use this download system, which has been banned in the United States, YTL or something, and it downloads the videos perfectly, and it gives you a variety. There's a little side note. Sorry. It gives you a variety of sizes. You want it at 480p? Do you want it at 1080p? What do you want? And then you click, you get it downloaded, and they supposedly have stopped this product. You stopped being used, and if you don't have a VPN on that's coming in from Mexico or even Canada, it says, "Oh, this product's been discontinued." If you're in the United States,
oh really?
It's not been discontinued. Yes, get a VPN and you can still use it if anyone out there has used it in the past, and it's one of the better ones, except for the fact that every once in a while, when you click on something, it sends you to some bad page, which you just close. It's not a big deal.
I wish I could find out.
So I download this guy every time I see one of his videos, because I say, this guy, he's not going to be on in another week. He's done. Yeah. And I download, but here he comes again.
I'm going to continue to do a little searching while we listen to this clip. This is from his episode literally titled Ivermectin in Japan.
Well, warm welcome to today's talk, Tuesday, the 23rd of November. Now, we want to look today at what can only be called the Japanese miracle, really. Let me just show you some graphics of Japan. It really is quite astounding compared to what we're still going through in the UK, the United States, Europe, other places. Here's the situation in Japan. So here we are now, very, very low cases, having come down from this massive increase here. And we fussed about this a lot and warned about how dangerous this is.
Yeah, and this is a good point. It's not like Japan had no cases. It was, you guys were flipping out a couple of months ago. So, now that there's nothing, clearly the masks didn't work then, and they've always had masks. It's always a masked up country.
Yeah. Why would the masks work now?
Yeah.
the Olympics were at this time. Now, just looking at this last massive wave, sort of tsunami of cases in Japan, that's that wave in a little more detail. So that's kind of spread out the timeline a bit there. So that's from the 3rd of August to the 12th of September, when the cases were high in Japan. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you must be a very strange coincidence, but let's look at it. Now, this is the date here when ivermectin was allowed as a treatment in Japan, the 13th of August. I'm going to show you why I've got this date on here now. That one there's the 13th of August, ivermectin allowed as a treatment in Japan. So that was the 13th there, that day there. So 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days, and then the cases started to completely plummet off down to where we are now in Japan. So one of those interesting coincidences. Strangely enough, it's a coincidence that hasn't really been referred to on mainstream Western media.
Coincidence. That's a good one.
Okay, now he has 1.56 million subscribers. Clearly, this content would be I would say strikes removed. I mean, we've seen
misinformation.
So your question is very troubling. Why is he allowed to continue? Why is he allowed to continue? Troubling.
I have no idea. You know, I've been shaking my head about this guy ever since I first saw him, and that was some time ago. Now, if you saw the newsletter, the newest newsletter, there was a segment on ivermectin, and the fact that the NIH.gov has a web page, at least one, I'm sure there's more, about using ivermectin as though it's like a normal therapeutic for COVID. And I had a link, I had an image, and you can click on that image and go right to the page. Yeah. And it discusses it. And this is like everyone's in denial about the existence of this.
Well,
I mean, Scott Adams went on and on in one of his.
Scott Adams is creepy. What is he? So he tweeted something. He's just asking all these creepy questions, Mr. I'm a hypnotist. Trust me. This is for science. It'll all be great on my podcast. And his question was, I should look it up. It's important not to get it wrong, but it was, is it just my imagination, or do unvaccinated want vaccinated people to die so that they can say, see, told you so? And I'm like, I have friends and family who are vaccinated. You have sick imagination.
Yeah, you got really riled up about that question. I saw that.
Yeah, it's just, but he's.
I don't deal with the tweets. I just can't do it. I only post the promotional material.
He's captured by someone. He's an agent.
Well, he has definitely taken the down. He really a denier about ivermectin, and he went on about some spiel about nobody, which made no sense in lieu of the fact that we had the situation in Japan, as you just outlined, and this link in the newsletter to that NIH.gov website, which is about the therapeutical use of ivermectin in COVID-19. They have a 5-day regimen that they're pushing, as opposed to the little pack has got a
3-day. It's got
a 3-day regimen.
Well, it's 16 total, but it's 3 days of ivermectin, I think.
There's a lot of zinc.
Now, we also must keep reminding ourselves that this PCR test is also bull crap. So numbers. Who the hell knows what we're talking about? The whole thing is one evil psychological operation, and here's some proof.
No sanctions for an embattled Valencia lab that processes thousands of the state's COVID-19 tests. The California Department of Public Health has determined the Valencia branch laboratory has corrected what it called previously identified deficiencies. The state investigation also determined there was no evidence that its staff was improperly trained and no evidence that the samples were mishandled.
I love it's like you could have written that press release. There is no evidence. There is no evidence that the staff was poorly trained. Of course. Have you seen these undercover videos from these testing facilities? They're just throwing shit around. They don't care. Crank up the cycles. It's bull. It's total bull.
Well, there's a lot of total bull, that's for sure.
It's kind of not as bad as. Well, hold on a second. What do we have? We might as well just bring in France for just a sec. France. Le France. Because they're just moving ahead lockstep with the rest of the EU, with the Netherlands, with Belgium, with Austria, with Germany. The UK will lock down again before Christmas, of course. In France, let's tighten up your pass sanitaire.
If you are vaccinated, you must also have a booster shot if you're an adult within 2 months of becoming eligible. If you are unvaccinated, it becomes harder still. Instead of being tested every 72 hours for a valid health pass, you must now be tested every 24 hours. Now, the thinking here has never been subtle. These health passes have always been about guiding, motivating reluctant people towards getting vaccinated by simply complicating their life if they choose to not do so. So this is a continuation of that logic, and you can see that particularly for the unvaccinated people, their lives are going to be significantly trickier if they are determined to stay unvaccinated under these circumstances.
This is happening everywhere in Europe. Do people? I mean, from the French. Come on, frogs. You're better than this.
Please.
They
the days
are
over.
They are better than this.
They were.
Down under, we see the big protests in Melbourne, but there's the Aboriginal community, which is a thing. The Aboriginal community, they're sending out an SOS. SOS, this is horrible what's taking place.
Yeah, my name's Lompa Jumba Jimba. Some of you know me as David. I'm a descendant of the Luritja Wambaya people in Central Desert. We are a part of the original Sovereign Tribal Federation. We are part of the community. We are part of the people, and we're standing here united to make an international call for assistance.
And just so you see the visual, it's a whole bunch of Aboriginal leaders, and this guy kind of he almost looks like a biker who just said, I'm an Aboriginal, and just kind of popped in the middle of it. But he has some features that may look, Maori kind of thing. So I don't know how to detect that. So I think it's sincere.
We need international attention focused on what's happening here in our communities. We have the Northern Territory government force vaccinating our people, pressuring them using military, using foreign military, foreign police officers, and local military and local police officers to pressure our people into taking this bioweapon. They are not informing the people. They are lining them up. They are pressuring them. They are telling them they can't eat in the shops. They can't leave the community. They can't go shopping elsewhere. Those who are being forced, those who are fleeing to get food or fleeing from this forced vaccination are actually being fined $5,000 for leaving the community. So this is martial law. This is a war crime. This is a crime against humanity. And everything that has been implemented against humanity has been trialed and practiced on the tribal people of this continent. We are the guinea pigs. We are the dry run for everything. What they are doing in our community right now, do not think because you live in major cities that you are void of it. This is a dry run for the rest of the country and the rest of the world. They're trialing it on us. They tried the basic card, okay? Your universal income, non-cash card. Everything gets tried on us. The New World Order agenda, everything has been trialed and practiced on the sovereign tribal people of this continent. They are pressuring us in every way, and now they are going in with the military. They are locking down entire communities. They are not letting people in or out. They are protecting their crime by shutting everybody out, and they are pressuring and forcing our people to take this bioweapon.
Well, they are ahead of us.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Huh.
It just seems... It's just annoying when shit that you've been conspiracizing about for a decade starts to kind of look like it's coming true. And this basic card, I looked it up.
They're
in
incompetent,
Australia.
though, in the end.
Oh, they're all incompetent, but in Australia, they have the government has the guns. The Australian government has 2 separate cards designed to restrict how income support recipients can spend their payments. So this is kind of the dream, kind of the like the central bank digital currency dream. So the basics card can only be used at merchants that the Department of Human Services has approved. So it's a bit like the SNAP card, I guess.
This is one of these. Well, yeah, I guess there's elements to these. When you give people money, you can control how they spend it. This is the reason you don't want any of this.
This is the reason why it's going to happen. It's exactly.
Well,
it's beautiful.
They wanted it to happen because it was great.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, we can control people. It's good times, man. Good times. Good times.
David Rockefeller's dead, as far as I know.
I did have this is a dynamite clip that popped up on gbnews.uk, which I'm sure it's streams online, and I'm sure it's probably on the, on whatever packages they have in the UK. The only guy, let me see, because Farage is on here. Have you even heard of this outfit, GB News?
Yeah, in fact, I thought I had a clip from them.
Well, I have a clip from them. Let me see who's on there. Mark Dolan. I know him.
Something
Farage.
I have seen.
Oh, they have the Great British Breakfast. Okay. And then Neil Oliver. I love Neil. Everyone loves Neil Oliver. Anyway, so here's this Dr. Asim Maurta. And I looked him up. He's no slouch. He's he's like some advisor to the NHS. He's a doctor. He's in fact, I think he's a cardiologist. And he noticed a few things, and he has some inside information. New shit has come to light about the vaccines and some adverse events. And he has a very calm, very good story, which I think, again, one of these things people might want to just send to your friends or relatives just to let them know what's going on.
Now, what this abstract has shown, what this research has shown, is that markers associated with increasing the risk of heart attack and probably even progression of underlying heart disease in people who've already got some heart disease has been significantly increased risk from 11% at 5 years, risk of heart attack, to 25%. Now, that's a huge increase. If this is true, then it's very concerning indeed. What I will share with you today, somebody from a very prestigious British institution, cardiology department, researcher, a whistleblower, if you like, contacted me to say that the researchers in this department had found something similar within the coronary arteries linked to the vaccine, inflammation from imaging studies around the coronary arteries. And they had a meeting, and these researchers at the moment have decided they're not going to publish their findings because they are concerned about losing research money from the drug industry. Now, this person was very upset about it. Knowing this information, which is very concerning, Stephen Gundry's paper in circulation, and anecdotally, I've been getting told by colleagues that they are seeing younger and younger people coming in with heart attacks. Now, what does this mean in terms of the data? We have to put the jigsaw for the pieces together. We know since July there's been almost 10,000 excess non-COVID deaths. And most of those, or significant proportion of those, are being driven by circulatory disease, in other words, heart attack and stroke. There's been a 30% increase in people dying at home. And often these are because of cardiac arrests. Of course, this is also something close to my heart because my own father is one of those statistics. So where do we go from here? I think the signal is quite strong. I personally think that this needs investigating. So I think the Joint Committee of Vaccines and Immunization should absolutely investigate this. I think that the researchers, I really hope that they take a look in the mirror and realize, the ones from where this whistleblowers come from, they realize that they should publish this stuff because their duty primarily is to patients, not the interests of the drug industry. And I think the third thing, and this has been a discussion that's been ongoing, I think now it's high time that policymakers around the world put an end to the mandates. Because I think if this signal is strong and if it's correct, then history will not be on their side and the public will not forgive them for it.
Yeah, I had this clip too. Yeah, it was good.
I like that guy.
Yeah,
it was calm.
He's calm.
Well, it was interesting. I told people, to use that mega cut, the super cut that I had on the last episode, about 2 minutes of, starting off with, you won't have to wear a mask. You'll be fine if you're vaccinated, all the way down to get your third booster.
Get your third booster and wear
I said, no, you should play that for people. And one of our producers, Grant in Malaysia, he provided a report. He said, well, the red pill people nodded and said, yep, we know. The blue pill made excuses, completely missing the point. they force so much compliance and restrictions onto us out of their pride and arrogance. One person said, well, they couldn't know at the time.
Oh, no, I've thought about scenarios because I wanted us to do one of our skits that always fail.
Oh, okay. Can we do it?
Well, I'm not going to try to do the skit.
Improv?
But we could. But the way the thing goes is exactly that. The guys who are the blue pillars, if you want to call them that, they're all, there's an issue. Well, it's all, and my original intent was to do it with global warming. After, say, in 50 years, it turns out to be not a hoax, but just, it would be a hoax to you, but to me, the blue pillar, I'd say, no, it was never a hoax. The people were honest. They had the information that told them
at the time, with the data they had at the time.
And so at the time, I was taking action. At the time, you weren't taking action.
Yes,
so you're still a bad person.
You're a horrible person.
But I was taking action. I was watching my carbon footprint. I was very careful because, yes, I know now it was ridiculous because I didn't have to do any of that because none of this happened. But I was going by the science. You weren't. You weren't going by the science. You were going by the conspiracies. You were going by all the rumors and all the rest. I was going by the science. So even though it was all wrong, I didn't know that. I didn't know it was all wrong.
You know what I'm worried about? Right. If we do a skit like that, you will actually wear me down. If you're the blue pill, you will wear me down. I'll be just like, all right, fine, whatever.
With that logic, which you just expressed with the guys in Malaysia, and the logic that I just gave you, you can't win.
Well, that's part of the mass formation. The 30% you cannot convince of anything. It will not work. And as much as you try and as much as you want to, I shouldn't even suggest you send it to your friend. The point is, there's 40%.
Yes, exactly.
There's 40%.
You shouldn't even bother.
Well, there's 40% who are just going along with the program. But by the way, do you remember, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago, maybe a little longer ago, I disagreed with a study that showed that pregnant women who had been vaccinated were miscarrying at extraordinary rates. And I extrapolated the scientific study differently than the scientists who wrote the study or who did the study, supposedly, how they extrapolated. And I said, you're not counting the women who were not had not been vaccinated for 14 days. There's things that happen in that 14-day period, which technically does not count as quote unquote fully vaccinated. Well, wouldn't you know it? There's a whole nother study about that study now. The use of mRNA vaccines in pregnancy is now generally considered safe for protection against COVID-19. However, the influential CDC-sponsored article by Shimbukuro et al. 2021 used to support this idea on closer inspection provides little assurance, particularly for those exposed in early pregnancy. The study presents falsely reassuring statistics related to the risk of spontaneous abortion in early pregnancy. In this article, we draw attention to these errors and recalculate the risk of this outcome based on the cohort that was exposed to the vaccine before 20 weeks gestation. Pretty much exactly what I said. So suck it.
Who are you telling to suck it?
The people who went, you can't give statistics, you little
talking about the trolls in the troll room?
It's beyond trolls. These
so many people send you emails?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, we have a bunch of those people.
No, it was a lot of people. You should just own up. You can't do math, man. Just own up.
Well, the math thing, wasn't that a different issue?
No, it's the same thing. This is also math.
I thought the math was about 50%.
No, this was also math about percentages. And people are saying, no, there's this many women. That's the percentage.
Yeah.
Why do I even bother?
Why? That's
why?
Like to know.
Quit. If I should have quit during episode 100.
100, you were done.
I knew I was on the right track then.
You were done.
I was
and
toast.
You were convinced you were done. It was like,
I
wow.
was toast. I was done for.
I could see you visibly without even seeing it because it was just all audio. But I could feel you wiping your brow, going, "Oh my God, we did 100 episodes.
I gotta get out of here. I gotta
it's a
get
good time
out of here.
To quit 100. Oh my God."
Although I am happy that I did not quit at 100 because now 1,300 episodes later. I can. It was 100 at the time, so it's 1,300.
Oh yeah,
later.
1,300.
See,
later. Yeah.
math again. I'm better. Klaus Schwab was, and maybe this is the explanation for all of this. Maybe this was planned, and if it was, then it might have been planned at the
By that idiot Klaus Schwab. I doubt it.
He got together with the elites in Dubai. They had a nice little session, November 11th through 12th. He normally talks about the Great Reset and all of these highfalutin terms. He has a new one for us.
Excellencies, dear participants, what pleasure to be together again and to design the future. We are here to develop the great narrative, the story for the future.
The great narrative.
And I would like to refer to His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Vice Chairman and Prime Minister of the United Arab Emirates and the ruler of Dubai, who told us that in order to shape the future, you have first to imagine the future.
Wait, that guy said that? To shape the future, you have to imagine the future? Klaus Schwab is attributing that to some sheikh?
That guy, that guy. He's a very interesting character. He runs Dubai. He's a autocrat. And he's the one who dreamed up Dubai as this,
money sink, money pit.
As a huge center of all activity in the Middle East. It's like a shopper's paradise. And it's very modern. And he's like the visionary that did this. And he's also the visionary, I think, who chops heads off when somebody says anything bad about him in the country. And he's kind of an onerous. And he's also, you can take a look at him. You can see he's very happy with himself.
He has a scowl, though. He has just a perpetual scowl.
I'm the tough guy. I'm the tough guy. I'm running things. Shut up.
All right. So Klaus Schwab is.
By the way, so the Saudis who don't like any of these characters. They're opening their own Dubai called something or other. People know what it's called. It's almost half built now. It's like a Dubai in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
Right. So what better guy to have him come up with the great narrative? Sounds like
with the scowl.
Yeah, he's the perfect guy to pen that.
Of the United Arab Emirates and the ruler of Dubai, who told us that in order to shape the future, you have first to imagine the future, you have to design the future, and then you have to execute.
The people.
What better place for such a meeting than Dubai? So here, I think the next 2 days, we will look how we imagine, how we design,
Florida.
how we execute the great narratives, how we define the story of our world for the future.
Now, you always laugh and you joke.
I do.
But this guy is irritating because he is connected to a lot of this misery. So when he's in Dubai with the head chopper, the money sink head chopping guy, and he's like, we're going to create the great narrative, which if we've learned anything from television, we live in narratives that are created for us. Maybe this is just, November 11th. I'll tell you what, how about in 2 weeks? Hey, head chop and scowl guy, how about in 2 weeks we launch a variant and we just go and lock them up?
That's always a possibility, but I'm thinking of, when I think of this guy, this Schwab and his ideas, I keep falling back onto, Leviton comes to mind right away, but I fall back onto Celebration Florida. This is the kind of envision the future. You envision the future. You get celebrate people. If you're ever in Florida around Disney, especially around Orlando, go visit, go drive through, hang out, go to the store to Celebration Florida. Celebration Florida. Everyone who's ever been to Florida should make sure to stop by and hang out and check out the cute little theater, the cute stores, everything there. It's phony. It's like Disneyland. It's like Main Street, USA, and the Disneyland or Disney World. It's just a fake. But people live there. It's a big town, and what you get from these kind of planned communities, this whole idea where we can envision what it should be like, what's perfect, it has no soul, and it's creepy. It's actually creepy in a very weird way. That's what makes it so interesting to visit, because the kind of creepiness it is not anything you've experienced before.
Well, there's enough theories, and I won't say evidence, but there's enough theories that point to the elites having their, what's the name of the village? Celebration, Florida. But it's outside of the firmament, or it's beyond the Arctic ice, which of course surrounds the flat Earth model, and that all they're doing now is just teeing up the human resources to continue to work on their behalf while they go build their new utopia. With all the seeds, by the way.
Well, where's this utopia going to be, and who's going to be invited, and who are they kidding?
I don't think they're kidding anybody. I mean, you're asking me to, it's something that I can't tell you, but there's clearly, half of these idiots, they want to go to space. I mean, you think Jeff Bezos and all these, I mean, they want to get off of this planet. Leave it to rot and burn. Just let me set up the money flow before then.
So did you see the latest?
The latest what?
They're giving Strahan
oh no.
the free ride on the Bezos rocket.
Oh, yes, I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Why would they choose him?
Well, I mean, there's a bunch of, there's a number of jokes I could think of that go back to the 70s, but I don't know.
No, I mean, I did see that, and I was like, wow.
I think the reason is because they like to ridicule him on the Today or the GMA so much. They're going to get him into space, and he's going to either be giggling like a little girl, or he's going to be screaming like a
little girl,
like a little girl, or something. And they're going to get that tape, and they're going to play it on the show to humiliate him. That's what they've been doing all along. That's what my theory is.
I would look for a deeper tie. I'm thinking there's got to be some kind of entertainment product related to it. Strahan in space,
Strahan. Well, get this right. Strahan in space. That should work.
Yeah, let me see. The clip custodian gave me this clip of Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. I don't know why, but since we're talking about morning shows, this is Al Roker at Macy's. And did you see the president and Dr. Biden called in while Al Roker was in the parade?
Wow. Oh, hold on. My phone's ringing. Just a second. Oh, my God.
Oh, it's just like real.
Gosh, look at who's calling. Oh, hello? Hello, Mr. President.
Hello, Al. How you doing, pal?
Happy Thanksgiving. Dr. Biden and Mr. President, thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving to you. How
New York
are you?
Firefighter.
That's right. We had a New York firefighter here, and it's so good good for you calling. We thank you so much. What's your message to the American folks on this Thanksgiving Day?
Oh, what do you think the message is?
Happy Thanksgiving.
My message is, after 2 years, you're back. America's back. There's nothing we're unable to overcome, Al. And you're one of the reasons for that, pal. You're always up. You're always rooting.
Well, we appreciate it, Mr. President. Thank you so much. I hope you're going to continue to watch the parade. Santa is coming. Santa is coming, Mr. President.
I'm waiting for Santa.
What the hell what is going on here? Santa is coming. Well, get some tissue, Al.
Santa is coming. Santa is coming, Mr. President.
I'm waiting for Santa.
All right. Well, listen, happy Thanksgiving to both of you. From our family to yours, thank you, and happy Thanksgiving.
Wish you're there with you, Al. Nice to see you, pal.
All right.
Thanksgiving.
Jeez.
Which reminds me of the other sellout aspect of the mainstream of the three networks. So it's Friday, and so it gets, it's about 8 o'clock. I decide I'm going to watch a little TV, see what's going on. Every network except Fox, which had, I think, the Masked Singer Part 10 or something like that.
Jeez.
I can't stand that
I don't
show.
understand why that show is so popular.
my daughter Jay loves the show.
What is the aspect she loves
and I've asked her a couple of times, why do you like the show? It's vapid. It's stupid. It makes no sense. It's dumb. And she says, yes. She says, exactly. So you can do a lot of things while the show's on.
Yeah, but is there some great dopamine payoff? I mean, all I think is, I just hope that they
watching Jenny McCarthy scream and say, "Oh my God!" That's all she does. Oh my God!
I'm just happy they never asked me to be the Masked Singer because I think I would faint.
Oh yeah, and that thing. Oh my! Anyway, so I go to the TV. All 3 networks on Friday, which was the Black Friday, the Thanksgiving. Then you get that Friday. All 3 networks were loaded up with Christmas programming. One had Frosty the Snowman, another one had a Merry Christmas Show, and the other one had some other thing. It was all 3 networks were pushing Christmas on the little kids because they're all cartoons. On the kids, on Black Friday, it seemed a little early to me to be blowing your Christmas wad on the children programming on the networks.
Well, we did have a 28% downturn from pre-COVID Black Friday. So maybe they need to ramp up Christmas thinking and Christmas.
Yeah, but I don't think that they wouldn't have those numbers. This was programmed in advance. Maybe they expected them. That's possible.
Have you been paying attention to your buddy Lin-Manuel Noriega?
Miranda?
Yes, your buddy, your Broadway buddy. So
he was. Wait. Let me pull it at him here. Let me be you for a second. What? He's not my buddy. Why do you keep saying that?
I can trigger you, just not with stuff like that. Don't worry. If I needed to. So, it's just you do it on purpose. You know that it triggers me, and you do it on purpose. That's the difference. No, here's what I want to say about your
Miranda,
buddy.
I saw his part of that movie he did.
Yes.
Oh, my God, what a turd.
Encanto. Huge flop.
No, not Encanto. It's that Bang Bang Bust or whatever it's called.
Oh, no.
Boing.
Oh, no. I'm talking about
the new movie.
No, this is the new movie. This is Disney's Encanto with animated music. It's an animated music songs.
This is a real movie with real characters.
No, this is the worst story because it's a flop. This is $100 million production. This movie with
I don't know.
With the Golden Boy
just rolled out.
Yeah, this is the Golden Boy, Lin-Manuel Noriega.
Yeah.
And we were saying that this guy's he's no golden man. He's not that talented.
Well, he bends too much. I mean, he's got no backbone. He's
yes,
just a lefty.
Exactly.
I mean, and I will say this: I think personally, I would like to see him fail because
it's fun.
Besides the fact that it's fun, it's that. He has to be one of the most rude people in the world.
Yeah.
To take and throw out a paying customer from the Hamilton show when Mike Pence, unassuming Mike Pence and his wife went to see Hamilton, paid for a ticket, sat down, they stopped the show and kicked him out. You remember that?
Yes.
They kicked him out of the show. A customer, he just wanted to see the show. No. Mike Pence, being a Republican, was the only reason they kicked him out. They kicked him out. And I think that was the rudest thing anyone could do. And this is not bringing people together. I
forget exactly how that went
creepy.
Down. I forget how that went down.
They stopped the show and kicked it. Somebody went in the back and said, "Hey, Mike Pence is here." What? Mike Pence is here. Kick him out.
Did you have
a
clip?
They kicked him out.
I'm sure we had a clip about that.
It was that guy should never find success ever. I mean, that is the rudest thing I can imagine doing something like that. And you're supposed to be bringing people together. Oh, we got to, the country's falling apart. No, we're going to kick out the vice president of the United States. You're going to kick him out of your Broadway show because you don't like his politics.
Look, I have a theory. It usually holds true. The more you abuse the media disingenuously, the harder the karma comes back to hit you. And he went all out, and he's completely sold out, disingenuous. And so now it's all going to come flying back, and he'll be Mr. Persona non grata when the sex scandal comes out. It's what happens.
It could happen.
Yeah, of course, it'll happen. It's guaranteed.
But I really don't like the guy after that episode.
All right, one more before we take a break. This is very important news, especially for me now.
Dogs are people, too.
That's right. They are coming for them. They're coming for them.
And now to a dog flu outbreak that is getting worse in Southern California.
Dog
Vets
flu.
say the canine influenza is airborne and extremely dangerous. They are urging owners to vaccinate their dogs. About 800 dogs caught the flu between July and October of this year, and things could get even worse during the holiday season.
Theory right now is that because of the holidays and dogs going into daycare and boarding and flying, maybe perhaps with other dogs and other dogs coming for holiday things, it could definitely continue to spread pretty rapidly.
Dogs with symptoms, which include sneezing, coughing, and wheezing, should stay away from other dogs. Dogs cannot transmit that virus to humans.
We never used to have dog flu.
No, there was always these bouts. That's true. You weren't a dog owner then. But their dog
I have been dog owner for many years.
There was dog flu, and kennel cough was another one that comes and goes.
When? I don't remember this.
Yeah, there was a kennel cough episode during the run of our show.
Well, I didn't care at the time, that's for sure. I care now. Oh, my God, let's go. We have to vaccinate Phoebe. Dog flu. Oh, highly contagious. It's all the same words. They're just getting in on the act. Hey, man. Hey. Let's get in on this action.
There's, I think, one dog for there's like 300 million dogs in the country or something like
Bonanza, baby. Bonanza. Yeah. We got to find out who makes the dog flu vaccine.
Yes.
Invest. Buy now.
Invest. Buy high, sell low.
And with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage. Say in the morning to you, the man who put the C in Santa is coming. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to my compagnon, Mr. John C. Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. Also in the morning, little ships at sea. Boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water. All the dames and knights out there.
In the morning. I'm still waiting on the trolls to get me that one link that I asked for. The one link. No, everyone's too busy. But they're there, the trolls. And we do love seeing them when they check in on the live stream. Let's have a little count, see how many are hanging out with us. Whoa! 2524. I think that may be a topper.
Wow.
2,524. You've got the Post-it note on your screen?
Yeah, 2368.
So this is the new topper.
Okay, well now unfortunately this tab is filled with numbers. Let me.
Can you get a new Post-it? 2524. Can you get a new Post-it note for the system?
Yeah, it's just
add a new node to your outline.
It's a sticker.
All right, trolls. Hey, well, it's good to have you all here, and you can join the trolls at trollroom.io. And if you would, everyone loves our bookkeeping methodology. It's like we can't even bother to do a Google Doc. No. It's just the stickers, Post-it notes, little crumpled pieces of paper in my pocket. That's how we run the show. But we do it with the entire Gitmo Nation, the entire No Agenda community, if you can call it that, because it's what it is. We're a tribe. We're a cult. We're a sect. We are people who, birds of a feather, who flock together. And it shows. Value for Value has kept everything going for 14 years and counting. That's why we love having the trolls, because, of course, even trolls are worth something. Even trolls are right at least once, just like a broken clock. And we also love our social network, noagendasocial.com. It's a Mastodon-compatible server, which means anybody can communicate with us from your own server, your own community. If you don't have one, you can set one up. You could set one up with a couple of different No Agenda people. You could do your own meetup group, Mastodon. You can then manage your own little community and still interact with others through the Federation. Follow me there at Adam at noagendasocial.com or John C. Dvorak at noagendasocial.com. And some controversy, we must first say.
Oh, yeah.
Some artist controversy, and I saw you did an appropriate apology towards Kenny Ben. We got burned.
Well, I think our excuse was valid, but at the same time,
we feel bad about it.
She was extremely irked by the fact that we had not.
Can you explain what happened so everyone knows? This is the previous
she did
artwork.
This great piece of art that we were actually going to choose. And then I researched it to see if it was, I mean, it was obviously, you can't do a drawing like this in 10 minutes, but we look for stuff that's been like, lifted from here and there. In fact, I would say the little turkey that Sir Ned did is I found 1 million of those that had to go. And so she did this really great piece, which I used in the last newsletter. If you want to know what we're talking about, take a look at the art that was used in the last newsletter.
Or look at your Podcasting 2.0 app right now.
Yeah, it should be cropping up. It was the Gooser Booster based with the turkey running scared in the middle of it. And I ran it through just an image search to see who else had it. And I found it on a T-shirt. And I just made the assumption that I don't know where she got the piece, but we talked about it. Well, maybe she licensed it, maybe she didn't, and maybe but I didn't like where it showed up, so we didn't take a chance. We didn't know, and so she said we disparaged her, and she was
malaligned.
She sent us a copy of the license.
Misaligned. No, what did we say? We maligned her.
We maligned her, and so she sent a copy of the license. She had a license for the image.
No, misaligned artist. I was accused of possible stolen art. I don't know if we accused, like, it wasn't the Spanish Inquisition. I'm writing to clear my name. I don't mind my art being critiqued. That part actually cracks me up. However, my integrity should never be. Well, I don't think we are questioning your integrity. I think we actually even said, well, it's possible you license it, but it's hard for us to take that chance because we've been burned so many times before by the very same community of artists who are burning us over this, if I might point out. So, am I right?
I sent her an apologetic letter, and then I said we will not even bother checking your art in the future.
Ever again.
And so I said I'd use it in the newsletter, so I put it up in the newsletter. And it's a great piece. I mean, we would have probably chosen it for the show that we didn't choose it for, the Thanksgiving show, if we'd known. It'd give us a back channel. We can, that would be easy. I'd just text you, is this real? Where'd you get this? Say, oh, yeah, we licensed it. Boom, it had been used. But we don't have back channels for any of these artists.
Yeah,
well, maybe you do. I don't.
No. My into the entire artist community is Comic Strip Blogger. So,
yeah, that's about this. Yeah,
he's always the first one to tell me we screwed up again. Kenny Ben has license. Look here, copy of license. What I'd like is we did discuss this after the show. I would like Comic Strip Blogger to write movie reviews that I can then read in the Comic Strip Blogger voice. In his voice. So.
And people out there don't realize that Adam's copy of his voice
is stellar.
Probably his best. Except for that and the Angry Dutchman. Those are the two top voices he does.
That's it, baby.
And they nail it. Now, on this last show, when we picked the art, we ended up taking another piece from Tontanil.
Tontanil.
And there were the pieces that were up for consideration. We really
let's just explain what this was for people who don't recall. It was a very no agenda type product pack shot. It was well done Thanksgiving dinner, turkey flavor with artificial flavors, ramen noodle soup. Ramen noodle soup, yeah.
Yeah, ramen. Ramen noodle soup.
But it said turkey flavor with artificial flavors, ramen noodle soup.
Yeah. It was very funny.
And then, of course, 33% less. We got all the stickers on it, obviously. But there were other things that we discussed.
Well, I liked Kenny Ben's other piece, a turkey fun crowdsource piece. But what I didn't like about it is the turkey fund art was
it was kind of stuck on, didn't feel right.
It was like glued on. It didn't really, it didn't work. Even though the rest of the piece, including the beautiful fade, in and out fade of the blues in the background, dynamite job. So, I mean, that's just...
I personally liked Nessworks' Gobble Gobble.
Yes, you liked that, but you ended up pretty much pushing, and I don't want to be the the one that's the negative Nelly here. But yes, you like Gobble Gobble. I didn't like it because I didn't like the colors at all.
Well, then we were discussing Roger Roundy's mittens.
Yeah, he did 4 pieces, which are just a variation of the same piece, which artists like to do. And the last one he did, which had the JCD, it had a different color, yellow.
Mm-hmm.
It was up for grabs. I mean, we could have used that piece, but it wasn't going to for one thing, the E in No Agenda was fading into the background because it was a funny color pink.
And I know exactly what I said. It doesn't pop.
It didn't pop.
Didn't pop.
And what did pop was this Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
There was a couple other pieces I liked. I liked Kenny Ben's Pinched It to Pump. It's kind of cute. That could still be used. Should be in the evergreens, but it's not that I know of. Yeah. We have about 5 professionals that are producing very competitive material.
Oh, yes. But at least 15 competing on every show. So this is
more.
Well, this is what I was talking about. This is value for value. You bring your time, your talent, your treasure, and here we go. We are one of the few podcasts anywhere that has fresh album art for every single show, and it makes a big difference. People see this in their podcast app, all of a sudden pops up something new, not the same old bland cover with just a different episode number on it. No. This makes a difference, and we really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, we get up to 40 or more, sometimes 50 pieces per show to pick from.
Yeah.
And it takes us a few minutes.
And sometimes it's heated. We have heated debates.
We rarely, but we do. We'll get into it's not really much of a debate. We'll have an impasse.
It's an impasse, yes, exactly.
That's where one of the two of us refuses to agree until he's talked into it.
See all of these images flow by along with transcripts and all kinds of fun new features, podcasting 2.0 apps, newpodcastapps.com. What do you have to lose? Try one. Try it with this show for a little bit. See if you like it. Tell more people about it. Now we need to thank our executive producers and associate executive producers for episode 1403. The way the show works, the people who come in as the top producers get the credit, executive producer, and $200 and up, associate executive producer. And funny enough, the top 2 donors today have no note associated with their support.
Well, they did send an email in.
Oh, okay. You got one. Good. Because I didn't see anything, and I looked, and I couldn't find it.
Yes. And again, of course, we've harped on the putting the word donation into the subject line, and neither one of these people, of these great donors, did so. But they did send their mail in with their name. The other thing, here's what we get. People don't use donation, and then their name, instead of being, in case of Travis Carico, would be cowboy@yahoo.com. I said, you can't do it. But no, he actually has a real name that he used.
Cowboy at yahoo.com?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know who used to use to do this, to kind of ditch themselves, Cowboy?
No.
Was the guy who was the CEO of Gateway Computers, Ted.
Oh, the cow company?
Ted, yeah. Remember, we were out standing in our field?
Yeah.
His email, instead of being typically a CEO of most high-end tech companies, is their first name. It'd be normally ted@gateway.com. That would be it. No. He used Cowboy. So it was not possible to even guess his name in a million years.
Do you know what Steve Jobs' email was?
I think I once did, but what?
sjobs@apple.com.
Well, in the way it was with Gates and Ballmer, it was, I think it still is, I think he still has his Microsoft address. It was Bill G.
Bill G. Mm-hmm.
And Steve B.
I still have my my email from him. I should probably sell that as an NFT.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
Yeah, okay. I'll get right on it. Anyway.
Steve B would be the one that they used to use.
So
everyone who was a top executive had their first name, last initial. That was their key. Everyone has a key. And while I'm in the process of giving inside dope, You used to be able to, for example, go on Google, and this irks me. This is how unuseful Google has become. You used to be able to go on Google and type in at Microsoft.com and just put that in your search engine, and you'd see how the emails were structured. You get you'd get a list. You get a list back from, you see Steve B and Bill G. You see how now I know how I can get an email into that guy now.
Oh, because you would know how they would structure their naming scheme.
Yeah, was it, like sometimes the first name dot last name.
Mm-hmm.
Companies do that all the time. And now you can't do that. No.
Really? I'm going to try it right now. No, you're right. No.
It's because we can't do this for privacy. So Travis Carrico gave us a fat donation of the Instabaron.
Oh, holy moly.
$3,333.33.
Whoa, holy crap. I'm glad we have the note.
Yeah, well, he also says, please wait for the letter before acknowledging my donation. The letters never showed up because this came in earlier. This came in on Friday. So we'll read the letter when it comes in. But we're acknowledging the donation anyway.
Okay, I'm going to give him a karma and look forward to the letter.
You've got
karma. The letter. Send me your letter.
He also says, I decided to stop being a douchebag, so let's de-douche him.
Of course.
You've been de-douched.
So that also means we don't Insta-Baron him or anything today, I guess.
Not until the letter comes in, which will probably be next Thursday.
All right. Thank you, Travis. I can't wait to hear what good fortune brought you to us.
Yeah, it was good. Very useful. Thank you. Save the show. Jim Schneeberg is next, and he's in Cary, North Carolina, and he gave us $1,125. He says Cary, North Carolina, country.
But wait, it says Great Britain.
Yeah. Does that make sense? There is a Cary, and there is a North Carolina, obviously. It says Cary, North Carolina. Great Britain. I don't know.
Do we have a note from Jim Schneeberger?
Yes, in fact, we do.
Okay.
The same lecture applies, which is there was no donation in the subject line.
Okay.
Happy Thanksgiving, sirs. I am sending you an amount of 1125 to celebrate my SHW child bride, Marianne Schneeberger, Dame of Disaster's birthday today. She needs to be put on the birthday list.
Okay. All right. Hold on. That's it?
No, I'm just waiting for you to write it.
Jim Schneeberger to wife
Marianne, Dame of Disaster.
Okay. And how old do we know? Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. She's 20.
Yeah. Okay.
It says child bride. She's probably 20.
20. You got it. 20.
If the U.S. used the British way of thinking, the date I'd be sending 2511. Sorry for that.
Okay. We lose out again.
And for me to join the ranks of knighthood and no longer be a lowly douche, could I arise? And he needs to be added to the knighting list as Sir.
My goodness, this is very exciting.
Sir Zimbabwe.
And he has humor. Okay.
Sir Zimbabwe.
Sir Zimbabwe. Does he have any?
And he spells it Gimbabwe.
Got it. Does he have anything for the round table?
Yes. He said, thanks for both for everything you do. At the round table, I'd like to have biltong and boersvoors.
Biltong?
Biltong.
Okay, and Boers Wars.
Boers Wars plus a Cold Castle beer. Cool. Nothing else required.
Okay.
Warmly, Jim and Marianne.
All right. Thank you very much for your courage, both of you. How beautiful. Do they need anything played?
He's got this note after note. No, he doesn't have any of this. He does have he has a clip of the Schiphol airport bit.
Oh,
attached.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Of the
that you played.
Okay, good. All right, Sir Zimbabwe. Looking forward to that. Thank you very much, Jim and Marianne is on the list.
Yeah, very nice.
And we say thanks to Aaron Borokes. And Mission,
I guess. I don't know.
In Mission Viejo, California, 333.88. After being called out by my daughter, Tori, on show 1402, I have no choice but to become an executive producer for show 1403, which falls on my 33rd trip around the sun. Forgive me, Podfather and JCD, I have sinned. Baby delivery karma, please. You got it.
You've got karma.
David Schwanebeck in Johnsburg, Illinois, 333.33. Johnsburg, huh? Thankful and grateful for the new info has come to light of no agenda in the morning.
I've got information, man. New shit has come to light.
Presume that's what he's talking about.
In the morning.
Sir Davy, 333.33. Very short bit of holiday value for value in the morning from Sir Davy. Thank you very much. I'll continue right along with Rob Campbell, Rochester, New York. The same favorite executive producer donation amount, 333.33. Everybody should try it at least once for some media property somewhere. We suggest no agenda. In the morning, Jen says, Rob, I'm sending $333.33 for the best podcast on the universe. He says here on. This is my first donation in many years, on top of the firmament, baby. Firmament first. This is my first donation in many years, so I'd appreciate a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
But since I've been a listener since day one, and until I become a knight, I need to call myself out as a douchebag. Douchebag. If you would be so kind, I'd love to hear Reverend Al say something intelligent. Well, we have no clips. No. We have no clips
it's
of that.
Not possible.
I don't think so. Keep up the great work. A software dude named Rob from near Rochester, New York.
Thanks to you, Ed. Is this Groundhog Day 2? We are watching that was Attorney General Eric Holder ABDs about some Republicans at home are already beating the drums of war. Today, the Pentagon refuted that claim. And he said the American people do not want him to, quote, dwindling. They do not want him dwindling his thumbs. You can get a gig as a contortionist. Intravenous fluids and pills coated with gelatin. We don't leave our women or men in uniform behind. It's a monument to the hubris of Dick Cheney, Representative Raul Labrador. The years of abuse.
This is
I personally apologized to Mr. Peebles. Just ask.
I wish I had the Kinshasa clip. What happened to the Kinshasa clip? Where he said Kinshasa. Was it Kinshasa? Anyway.
Yeah, that's the new one. These are put into this rotation.
I have to put it into rotation. All right, Rob. Alexander. There you go. Alexander Nuttall. I have no note from him. No, I don't. But I do have.
I don't either.
I see 333.33. We'll take that, and we appreciate it, Alexander. And if you need to follow up, let me double check. Once you do the next one, I'll double check. I don't have.
Well, I was going to go get it. Well, I don't have the original on this one, but Shauna Lawrence came with 333 Hopedale, Illinois, 333.33, and this is read in by Optical Character. So
I can read it. In the morning, my name is Shauna Lawrence. I'm a douchebag. I'm keeping my douchebaggery, and I am pulling a switcheroo. Here we go. This donation of 333.33 is for Brian Lawrence. Okay, hold on. Switcheroo, got it. He's my smoking hot husband of 16 years, and we never had a fight. Please de-douche him. Well, this is very, very tight note.
You've been de-douched.
This donation is an early Christmas present for me and our 3 human resources. Aw. I'm notoriously bad at getting him a gift he likes, so I'm hoping this one will be my redemption. I think you did just fine. John and Adam, keep up the good work. Thank you for your courage. Adam, your audio is pure perfection. I ordered a new box, by the way.
Okay, what'd you order?
It is the, you know what? If I could remember what the hell it was.
Wow, you must have really wanted it.
No, I've been researching it. Well,
what does it do?
Oh, it's a USB device, but it has plugins, so you can, in essence, the same thing I have now, but you can swap, kind of like the universal audio, you can swap out the compressor for, like a Neve compressor. Or they've modeled all of these in software.
Also a lot of, again, we're back to the modeling, yeah.
Yeah, back to the modeling. I don't know. It's worth a try.
I'm sure it's going to
suck.
Half the stuff you get is really outstanding.
Yeah, but I'm starting to send stuff back now. It's just like, I need to get the money back. Anyway, no jingles, just some jobs, karma. And these should be sending it to me for review for free. This is what I can't.
You tell me about it,
I don't understand. It drives me insane.
Well, we can work on it. We're going to make this happen.
We can make this change. All right. No jingles, just some jobs karma. Since Brian is in the running for a big promotion at work. Okay, for now. Okay, bye, she says.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Lee Racer comes in at 3:33 in Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina. I don't know, Fuquay-Varina. I got to visit there. ITM, John and Adam was hit in the mouth by my coworker Chip many years ago. I listened on and off for over the years, but started catching every episode since the Rona craziness began last year. This, however, is my first donation, so please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
I've been putting off, I've been meaning to donate for a while, but kept putting it off. Two things happened recently that made it imperative to donate now. First, I saw in the newsletter that the Sunday after Thanksgiving is typically a slow donation day. So I figured I would make a bigger impact now. And I will say that Thanksgiving was the slowest for quite a while. Second, and more importantly, there have been many recent donations from my hometown. Yes, yes, there have. I don't know why. What's going on there?
I know why. People, all of Fuquay is sitting there laughing, saying, "Hey, man, you got to send some money to these guys. They are idiots.
They like to talk about it.
They can't pronounce it.
I'm going to take a Google drive-through. I'm going to open it up and jump on the Street View, Google, and drive through the town and see what the hell's going on there.
Yes, and wave as you pass by.
Yeah, I always do. And more importantly, there have been many recent donations from my hometown, and the pronunciation keeps getting mangled. It's pronounced Fuquay.
Fuquay. Got it.
Fuquay. I know it is a personal issue of mine that bugs me, but what can you do?
Send another donation.
Pronunciation got me to donate.
Yeah, send another donation next week and see if we can still do it.
We'll do a Fuquay.
Fuquay. No, it's Fuquay. It's Fuquay.
Oh, is it?
He says it right there. Fuquay.
Well, made her to donate. My pronunciation of Dutch name seems to bring in the Dutch population. Can I please get an F cancer and health karma for my mom? Yes. No other jingles are necessary. Thanks. Crazy in the Quay.
You've got karma.
Thank you, Lee. Nick Foster is in Kearney, Missouri. 333, very short message. Buy Bitcoin.
They're saying that all hell is going to break loose, and you're going to need a Bitcoin.
There you go.
Yeah, Sean O'Neill's next from Royal Oak, Michigan, 333. Sean O'Neill, Royal Oak. I need jobs karma, please. I'll be asking for substantial salary increase on Monday, and I can use all the help I can get. P.S. I'm now well over halfway to knighthood. See all the dames and knights at the table soon.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Sir Jeremy Chumfatty, the half-witted?
Well, don't forget Sir...
I'm sorry.
Fromgar from Letitz.
Pennsylvania.
I don't have a note from him.
Wait, do we have a... Hold on a second. Is this his note here? Let me see.
I remember seeing something from someone in Letitz.
No, that's Shauna's note. I don't have anything. It has grayed out. So what is that? What is the grade?
That means it came in as a check.
Oh, as a check?
Yeah, I remember this check when it came in. It's one of those bank checks that came in, and I was expecting a note to come in through email, which has not yet. I have not seen one.
Okay.
It was one of those bank. It wasn't like a handwritten check that somebody sent in. It was one of those bank payment checks. And every once in a while, a big one comes in and like this, and I go, well, I'll wait for the note. Okay, onward.
Sir Jeremy Chumfati, the half-witted? Is that how I pronounce it? PH or Patti? Chumfati. Chumfati, the half-witted? Chumfate. Yes, Chumfate. Adam, in the morning, Adam and John. Jingle, dealer's choice. I do not like the dealer's choice thing.
I come up with a storyline.
Okay. I got something.
No, I'm telling the donors.
The donors. Yeah, come up with a storyline.
The donors come for a storyline. You can do it.
I'm honored as recently knighted by this first donation. Thank you for your courage. Okay, I'll do a little bit of this for you, Sir Jeremy, because it's a fan favorite.
I got ants.
You've got karma.
Tula Rainwater in Waukegan, Illinois. 22777. Dear gents, thank you for truly being the best podcast in the universe and consistently reminding me that my eyes aren't lying and I haven't gone mad. You're the best. Quick plug for my little business where I hand customize travel mugs and wine glasses at kbperkscustom.com.
I've actually looked at it. It's very sweet. It's a shop where they make exactly what she says, and they've got some patriotic mugs and other really more artsy stuff. And it's because they lost all of their income during the lockdown and the Rona pandemic, and so this is how she has been supporting herself and her family to stay on their feet.
Creative. Go to kbperkscustom.com. Slaves get 10% off with the code ITM. Spooks get no code. You pay full price. Shout out to No Agenda Social Community for boosting my posts and always being helpful. Love you all. Mean it. No jingles. Goat karma for everyone.
You've got karma.
Oh, nice. I'm glad. Moving along. Jasmine McMahon is our last associate executive producer and the last for this donation block. Firstly, may I be de-douched?
You've been de-douched.
Secondly, Jasmine says, may I please call out Arturo as a douchebag? Thirdly, yes, you do get 3 wishes. Add me to the November birthday list. I turned 33 on 11/22.
Another one.
Yep. My smoking hot husband hit me in the mouth last November on a road trip from California to Texas. I bet you didn't leave. Nope, she's in Winchester, California, still there. Grateful for the two of you and the information you provide. Jingle request 33 is the magic number, and anything from Al Sharpton. Al is just the gift that keeps on giving. Love is lit, says Jasmine, and thank you very much, Jasmine.
33, that's the magic number. It's the magic number.
He's getting lunch at
Chipotle.
The tortoise in the race. Kim Kardashian, Sigourney Weaver, Russia.
R-E-S-P-I-C-T.
They're all jitty.
R-E-S-P-I-C-T.
There's no real conflict.
Resist. We must. Resist.
Just a little bit.
We must. We must. And we will much about that. Be committed.
Fine opportunity to thank every single one of our audio wizards who have created so many great songs and jingles and different usable bits that are still usable throughout the years. Value for value. And I think that's it, right? Do we have any more?
Yeah, that's our group of associate executive producers and executive producers for show 1403.
Yes, thank you all so much. Please take these titles, use them wisely. They are completely credible, real, usable. Put them on your CV, in your profile, on LinkedIn if you want. If you send me an email, then I'll follow you on LinkedIn. I don't do much, but people always ask. That seems to be important. So if you want to do that along with your credit, happy to do it. And if you'd like to be an executive producer or an associate executive producer, please go to the following website.
Dvorak.org/executive
And you too will be thanked for bringing your time, talent, and treasure to the No Agenda Show.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Order.
Shut up.
All right. A couple of things also going on.
Yeah.
Here's this explanation that $450,000 are going to give these aliens, migrants. Here's the explanation without ever mentioning the amount of money for how they're going to do this and why they're going to do it on NPR. Migrant payout.
A new study finds that migrant parents and children who were separated at the southern U.S. border continue to experience psychological harm years after reunification. NPR's Joel Rose has more.
The study's authors analyzed affidavits for 31 parents or children who had been forcibly separated at the U.S.-Mexico border and concluded that most had symptoms of ongoing trauma, including PTSD. The study was conducted by the group Physicians for Human Rights, which has long criticized the Trump administration's zero-tolerance border policy. That policy sparked bipartisan outrage when the government deliberately separated more than 5,000 children from their parents. At least 1,000 are still separated. The Department of Justice is in settlement talks with representatives for those families, but Republicans have complained that the cash settlements under discussion are too high and will encourage more illegal immigration. Joel Rose, NPR News.
What was the name of that group? Physicians for Human Rights?
Some group, there's a pressure group that is involved with promoting illegal immigration.
Right, so it's not quite as overblown as it was. Like, everyone's going to get $500,000. Some families will have millions.
Yeah, no.
No. Let me see. They have a wiki entry. Well, fuck that. Oh, excuse me. Screw that. Let's take a look at their board of directors. I can't believe you didn't do this.
I can't either now that you're doing it.
Nobody of any interest that I can see. A lot of people, they have a 12-person board. Jeez. What if you hit donate? Let me see what pops up. No, it's still their own PHR, Physicians for... They are I'll have to look into them. They are an official 5013C. Interesting. Well, I'm not quite sure... I mean, it's 31 families. Yeah, I'm sure some bad stuff happened. You got some smart lawyers. They go around.
You do.
It's probably like a Thomas J. Henry personal injury lawyer. This nonprofit represents the families. Chasers. Yeah, and they get some money.
High end.
Yeah, probably. These people could also be the best people in the world.
Yeah, well.
But I'm doubtful.
I am too. I have a clip here from CNBC, which I think does the absolute best job of the Cuomo.
Oh, yes.
Updating us on what's going on with the Cuomo. And they bring in everything, that's including a new fact that I didn't know about.
The New York State Assembly releasing its impeachment report after an 8-month investigation into former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. It found overwhelming evidence that he engaged in multiple instances of sexual harassment. It also concluded that his administration manipulated data on deaths of nursing home residents during the pandemic. And it found he used state workers and public resources to write, publish, and promote his memoir. The report giving new insight into this final allegation. Cuomo had a $5 million book deal to write a memoir about governing during the pandemic. He says any work done by staff was voluntary and didn't violate ethical guidelines. But the report found junior and senior staffers were forced to work on the book during normal work hours. It concluded the governor, quote, utilized the time of multiple state employees as well as his own to further his personal gain during a pandemic. Cuomo has repeatedly denied the multiple allegations of sexual misconduct and previously said he did not intentionally misreport the number of nursing home deaths. He also was not interviewed for this impeachment investigation. Cuomo's attorney...
Wait a minute. She says he did not say, but there's proof that they hid that on purpose.
Personal gain during a pandemic.
He's got his tit in a ringer.
Yeah, but he says listen to the report here.
Cuomo has repeatedly denied the multiple allegations of sexual misconduct and previously said he did not intentionally misreport the number of nursing home deaths. He also was not interviewed for this impeachment investigation. Cuomo's attorney says the report, quote, simply parrots a previous flawed report from the Attorney General, failing to engage with the many errors and omissions in that report and her one-sided, biased investigation.
Well, you can never shame this douchebag too much.
Apparently not.
So I will play my clip. The clip custodian sent me a note this morning. He said it was very hard to get anything really good on the Cuomo sexual situation. So he went to WWNY in Buffalo to get this report, which is similar but has a little more detail on the slavery aspect.
The book was called American Crisis, Leadership Lessons from the COVID-19 Pandemic. It was released a year ago after Cuomo made a name for himself leading New York through the COVID crisis with daily public appearances. But according to a report done for the State Assembly, quote, junior members of the executive chamber, in other words, Cuomo employees, worked on the book, and that work was not voluntary. The report said senior members of Cuomo's staff, quote, attended meetings with agents and publishers, transcribed and drafted portions of the book, coordinated the production and promotion of the book. One senior official complained that, quote, work on the book was compromising his ability to work on other COVID-related matters. Cuomo's deal for the book was a reported $5.2 million. Cuomo spokesman said in a statement this afternoon that the people who worked on the book were volunteering their own time. The report also again confirmed allegations Cuomo sexually harassed staffers. He denies that, but he's now facing a charge of forcible touching. And the Assembly report says Cuomo wasn't transparent when it came to nursing home deaths from COVID, though the report did not find his policies made those deaths worse.
I love how the report goes, Cuomo sexually assaulted them. That kind of flows really nice. So you remember when everyone, when all jacked up and he's the best governor. He's our shining light. He's guiding us.
Give him an Emmy.
And then he came out with his nipple rings, his nipple bars. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
So everyone who was all jacked about that, let me give you a visual.
And by the way, that wasn't an accident showing that.
No, it was
guys like that.
Cuomo-sexual. It was Cuomo-sexual. Cuomo-sexual behavior. And for those of you who are all excited about that, next time you see nipple rings, the only thing you'll see in your head is dead grandma. I've just anchored that for everybody. I've anchored it for everybody. It's done. I've made it so. Even though there's a lot of other pharmaceutical news, Ohio, man, they won a big suit against Walmart, CVS, and Walgreens, found at least partially responsible for the opioid crisis in 2 counties in Ohio. They were just flooding the zone. For decades, pharmacy chains have watched as the pills flowing out of their doors caused harm and failed to take action. And, and what kind of, it's just a throwaway item. No one really talks about it. The OxyContin is still being prescribed. Nothing has really changed. Except, and it's so odd that that Michael Keaton series is on Hulu. Tina doesn't understand it. She says, how can they show how the FDA is so corrupt and just showing it? Have you seen it at all? Did you watch it?
No, I have not yet watched it. I haven't done that. I'm waiting to watch. Yeah.
I mean, the revolving door, all of that stuff, it's all right in there.
Huh.
It's crazy.
I'm having a harder and harder time finding stuff on Netflix. Unless
this is Hulu. It's on Hulu.
Oh, it's on.
Well, Dope Sick. It's called Dope Sick. So you can remember that. Dope Sick.
I can kind of remember that, I think.
Let's just stick in New York for a moment, since the Cuomo sexual is gone, and we have Hochul, who puts herself. Remember, she idolizes herself quite a bit. And she has, there's been some, not just her, but I guess the city council has made some interesting decisions.
After years of pressure from immigrant advocates, the New York City Council is poised to approve a bill that would allow more than 800,000 non-citizen residents to vote in city elections, as long as they have green cards or work permits. Here's Councilman Antonio Reynoso at a press conference outside City Hall.
Immigrants mean so much to the city, and it's about time that we finally get an opportunity to show these representatives what we want at the voting booth.
New York would not be the first city to allow non-citizens to vote in local elections, but it would be by far the biggest. At the same time, voters in several states, including Florida and Colorado, recently approved ballot measures to stipulate that only citizens can vote.
Exact same clip I have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, exact same clip.
Huh.
And I had mixed feelings about this. And I'll tell you why. I have a place in Washington State. I have a place down here. Well, I can't vote in Washington State, even though I'd like to vote on local issues, because local issues in Washington State affect me.
Yes, they do.
My property value, they affect everything I've got up in Washington State. But I can't vote on it. I think I should be able to vote on that stuff.
No, I think I'm in agreement with you. I also feel if you have a green card, I know what it takes to get a green card, then you should certainly be able to vote in your, although that's a federal document versus a city document. But if you have a green card, yeah, you certainly should be able to do that. Now, if you have residency, but temporary work visa, no, I don't think so.
No, I agree with no.
If you're not in the country for an extended, if the country is not your home, then no, just no. Are we now racist, horrible men?
You are.
Oh, me and my buddy. Hey, what's going on with
buddy?
What's going on with Kosovo? Some weird is happening.
Starting up. Starting up.
Because
I have no clips. Though.
I do. I have a clip that is really just a fun clip to listen to because it shows Nicole Wallace, who was, Nicole Wallace. Who did she work for? Did she work for Bush Sr.?
Yeah, she was a Bushy.
She was a Bushy, and now she's just a Trump hater.
Now she's a douchebag.
She can't let it go. She cannot let it go. So there are problems in Serbia. We've got tanks at the border with Kosovo, and what happened is, I guess Trump sent an envoy, which consisted of what's the guy who was DNI, the Grinnell, Richard Clapper? Grinnell. No, Grinnell.
Oh, Grinnell.
Yeah, the guy who was also the ambassador to Germany. Sent him over to Kosovo, and the reason why, now I went back and looked at it, he put together an agreement, an economic agreement between Kosovo and Serbia. Remember where they would land planes in each other's country, and they were working on restoring trade. So this, I guess, has fallen apart, and he sent Grinnell over to go see if they could salvage anything. To me, that means Trump may have some hotel deal or something in Kosovo or Serbia, or maybe he really just wants to save this region because if you got tanks at the border, then stuff is happening. But listen to how on MSNBC, douchebag Nicole Wallace, how she frames this, and I don't let her get into the panel. This is just her introduction. You tell me what's going on. Otherwise, she's either really scared of what Trump is doing, which is why I think the clip is worth playing, or she's just filled with vile green bile and hatred, which is also worth listening to.
President Joe Biden has been our president, all of our president, for 297 days. It's a fact, something we all know to be true.
Oh, thank you.
Really. Except maybe one person who still really believes he's the president. No surprise as to who that person is. But out of all the weird and wild and problematic things that the ex-president has said and has done since his time of leaving office in January, something he said yesterday is truly next level. Speaking to the inner delusions of the man who was and so desperately wants to be commander-in-chief again, it appears, in a press release yesterday. The twice impeached, disgraced ex-president who liked to take his mocha test on TV, man, woman, tomato, announced that his former acting DNI.
So this is what I found so interesting. This whole intro is just The twice impeached, disgraced former president, the man who used to take his cognitive test on television, man, woman, TV, tomato.
What was that all about?
Well, just keep listening. It's not over.
Was and so desperately wants to be commander-in-chief again, it appears. In a press release yesterday, the twice impeached, disgraced ex-president who liked to take his mocha test on TV, man, woman, tomato, announced that his former acting DNI, a man who would go on to fight the baseless vote fraud claims, who also served as ambassador to Germany and special envoy to Serbia and Kosovo while Trump was president. His name's Rick Grinnell. Trump announced that now, as this ex-government person whose last gig was to stop the steal stuff, had made a trip to the Serbia-Kosovo border to promote peace. He was on a peace mission to promote peace between the two countries and to highlight the economic agreement that his administration brokered there in 2020. An attempt to have a foreign policy mission from a man that is no longer in charge of our country's foreign policy.
What do you think that's about? What is her problem?
I've always thought that what happened with her, I don't even know why they employ her. It makes no sense to me. But was that she was in the Bush family camp, literally. And I think that she was promised she was going to get a good job and she maybe become an ambassador or something like that by Jeb. And when Trump took out Jeb, the easiest one to take out, Jeb, I think she just has a permanent grudge against Trump, and she just expresses it at the drop of a hat.
That seems like a little overdone for a story that, why would you even care unless there's something important about it? There's definitely moves happening that we're not privy to in. Russia's making moves everywhere. Turkey, I still can't figure out what Erdogan's going to do. With the lira crashing the way it has and continues to do, I guess. There's Russian involvement there.
Trying to smoke him out, I think.
Smoke him out.
I think the EU is trying to smoke out Erdogan with the crash of his currency.
Well, he wants money from I know that he wants money from the EU, or he wants to be. Wasn't he supposed to be in the EU? Don't you remember that? Or was it NATO?
Yes, originally he was promoting being in the EU. He was helping the EU keep the migrant crisis to a minimum.
Right. And so
and it was one thing after another, but then because of the nature of his governorship, if you want to call it that, being so dictator for all practical purposes and kind of a fundamentalist Muslim, they balked.
Oh, of course. And are they in NATO, though? Think so.
I think they are in NATO. Yeah.
Well, that's I
think it's in NATO.
That's a little bit touchy if he's buying Russian S-400 anti-aircraft weaponry. A little touchy.
Have something to do with it, maybe.
Yeah. Well, we really don't know.
I have this one. I want to get this out of the way. This is the Squaw Band clip with the new Interior Secretary or the head of Parks or some. They've hired a lot of indigenous people in the government.
Oh, you're so PC to say it that way.
Yeah.
The country's first indigenous cabinet secretary is moving ahead with plans to remove derogatory or racist names of geographic places, largely in the West. NPR's Kirk Siegler has more on the new order issued by Interior Secretary Deb Haaland.
Secretary Haaland's order declares squaw a derogatory term that's long been a racist and sexist slur directed at indigenous women, yet it's still included on some federal land names. Most recently, it was in the headlines after the Squaw Valley Ski Resort, which leases some of its land from the U.S. government, vowed to change its name. A new federal task force will find replacement names for geographical features on federal public land that still contain the word. Now, the order also sets up a review of other federal land units with controversial names. In a statement, the Colorado-based Native American Rights Fund praised the move, saying names that still use derogatory terms are, quote, an embarrassing legacy.
What if they had a powwow over this discussion?
You can't say that. I guess the Hill Country Apaches are going to be in trouble eventually, huh?
And by the way, why would Squaw Valley vow? Why would the Squaw Valley people that own Squaw Valley, wouldn't it be reported as the Squaw Valley ownership has decided to change their name or said they're going to change their name. What does he use the term vowed? I vowed at this show, by the way, at the end, I'm going to vow to say something.
Oh, that means you have no intention on actually doing it, or perhaps you can't do it. That's why you vow to do it. That's just a performative.
Maybe.
I vow. I vow as I say, I take a vow that I want to do it. Doesn't mean I'm going to do it. There's no evidence. Your vow means you're going to do anything.
I wonder if they're going to start taking words like brave out of the English language.
Just out of the English. Oh,
he's a brave man.
No.
Oh, that's a slur.
No, the etymology of brave is...
it doesn't matter. Gay is a good example of something what you're going to say. Gay is a very famous word. It meant happy until it was taken over by the gay
gays.
Community.
The gays.
By the gays.
It was captured by the gays, damn it. Well, to be fair, they were known as the gays and they wanted their word. Hello. Give us our word.
So, yeah, brave can go.
What did we used to call gays? Homos.
Homosexuals.
Yeah.
Well, homos was a derogatory.
Of course it's derogatory, of course.
But homosexuals is a fact.
Yeah. But gay used to be like a really cool term.
I mean, you were happy.
Well, no, even
there's a bunch of movies
when you
with
were
the word
gay.
gay in them. Gay divorcee. It didn't mean it was gay.
Yeah.
Now
you don't
kind of.
And by the way, where are all the gay guys? They got no visibility. They get no ink.
No, they've been pushed up. They're marginalized.
They are totally
Too many
marginalized.
of them are Republicans is the real problem.
Exactly. Grinnell, good example. There's your guy. Whose last gig was the Stop the Steal. Okay. Nicole Wallace. Let's see. What else do we have?
Well, I've got a supply chain issue with the Gap. This is kind of interesting because this is the supply chain that's coming out of Vietnam.
Oh, yeah.
But these guys are in trouble. And you always want to talk supply chain.
Yeah, no, I am interested in that.
Clothing retailer Gap says supply chain disruptions might cost it hundreds of millions of dollars in lost sales. The company's shares plunged more than 24% after the company disclosed the vast impact of shipment delays and a drop in sales. NPR's Alina Selyuk reports.
Gap says in the latest quarter, supply chain bottlenecks cost it $300 million. Shipment delays meant that when shoppers were ready to buy, the clothes were missing. Gap owns Banana Republic, Old Navy, and Athleta. About 30% of its products are made in Vietnam, which has gone through waves of factory shutdowns. For the year, Gap expects to spend almost $500 million on air freight to overcome shipping logjams. It's forecasting a whopping amount of lost sales, as much as $650 million. Analysts pointed out that Gap seemed to fare much worse than many of its rivals and also kept increasing its advertising even as it struggled to get supplies.
Now, I found the advertising comment interesting because I know the history of their advertising a little bit.
Okay.
They had...
Fall into the Gap.
Well, then they went to Old Navy is what they advertised mostly. Right. But they decided, they had some guy come in, one of these bean counters came in. This is about almost 20 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. And he said, we're advertising too much. And they, because they were heavy advertisers, as you remember. And they still are.
Yeah, sure.
In fact, they kept it up. And so they pulled the plug on their advertising to make it more cost effective. And their sales plummeted. Because it's one of those companies that just needs to be hounding you constantly to get you to go there. And they fired the guy, and they started cranking it up. It took at least 2 years to get their sales back to where they were. Then they got so freaky. This is the reason I think they haven't changed their advertising, because they got so freaky about it that, okay, we got nothing to sell, but let's keep advertising.
Just so they won't lose the brand recall or brand awareness, mind share. Yes,
the old mind.
They should bring back Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah, well,
she did great for Old Navy. But they have nothing to sell. This is the same with the car guys. I'm now getting offer letters for my car from the dealer. Please. And if you look at, Blue
Give
Book,
me your car.
Oh yeah, please. And they're way overpaying by like 15% or more. Please. And we have a car. It's on the boat, so you'll get it soon enough. Promise.
Yeah.
So what
months,
are the
maybe?
What are the supply chain issues in Vietnam? Is it question? Who owns the ports? Who owns the ports?
Well, if you listen to the report carefully, they mentioned a lot of the factories that do this manufacturing had to shut down for probably COVID. So they shut down a bunch of factories. Vietnam is a real gold mine for having stuff done because it's a little more expensive than China, but the population is extremely intelligent, and I think they're more quality control oriented because of the nature of the art and the lacquers and things they produce there.
And the Vietnamese, they love you long time.
God.
Sorry. Bad.
Again, fired.
Very fired. Very, very fired. And deservedly so.
Yet we're not fired.
Amidst supply.
And why is that? It's because we have an audience that pays the bills.
That's right. And if they hate us, then we would be fired. Yeah. That's right. Well, let's thank some of those audience members.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
And indeed, we have a few people to thank, including Martha Triantafili, I think, in Greenwood, Indiana, 16133. Now, she wrote a note. And she's a first-time donor, and she needs a dedouching, and she's the future dame of the Greek goddess. I want to read this because I don't think she realized that it was
under the note reading.
That it was not going to get read.
You are such a mensch, Dvorak.
Yeah, here we go. Here's my first donation. Please dedouche me.
Yeah, we got that.
You've been de-douched.
It's a December 1st birthday present towards my knighthood of my smoking hot and loving husband, Mark, I guess we'll say Bucheri or Bucherel. Can't tell if that's an L or an I.
Boucher.
We'll do a Biden and just mumble it. He's hit me in the mouth when the lockdown started, and we have been listening together since then, with Sundays being the most special day, enjoying the live show, eating amazing brunch. She's probably listening
right now,
eating amazing brunches and sipping mimosas. Wasn't that special?
Sounds just like my Sunday mornings. Yes,
I've got some mimosas. Please mention our upcoming Crossroads of America meetup in Indianapolis, December 5th, Sunday, and help get us connected and grow our ITM tribe here. Make sure you go to the noagendameetups.com and post it. Thank you for your courage.
All right.
And jobs karma you get at the end.
Okay.
Now, onward with John Taylor, $140. David Fugazotto.
Hey, Fugazotto.
Post-Thanksgiving Omicron donation, $115.29. Robert Rachel Jans in Portland, Oregon, 100. Rita Harrington, 100 in Sparks, Nevada. Robert Smiley in Holland, Pennsylvania, 8008. But wait, there's more. Sir Kevin McLaughlin, Duke of Luna and lover of America and boobs, 8008. Unbelievable. He's going to be a Duke in a minute.
Nice.
He is a Duke. He's always the Duke of Luna. I don't know, he's going to be the Duke of Boobs. He is the Duke of Boobs. What am I saying? Sir Gary Blatt in Wayne, Pennsylvania, 7777. James Woodhouse, $75. Clayton Maring, $69.69. Needs some boogity if you can get there maybe at the end.
Yeah.
Rachel Hobbs in Pensacola, Florida, $60. Sir B. Boop, Knight of the Frozen Tundra, $56.78. Peter Chong, Lakewood, Washington, $55.10. Ryan Armstrong in Seaford, New York, $55.10. You might want to read this because I think he's going to be knighted.
In the morning, John and Adam, in preparation for my 40th trip around the sun, please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
I don't think he's on the birthday list.
We'll check in a moment. The mental clarity you both provide keeps us all sane. Thank you for the twice weekly vaccination against fear and the M5M bullshit. I'd like to call out Uncle Scott as a douchebag. What?
I said douchebag.
I humbly request bacon and bourbon for the round table. And then he has some jingles. which I can probably line up for the end. If you have any goat karmas left in stock, that'd be great. Yes, we'll play that for you in a moment as well. Thank you, Ryan Armstrong. Please knight me, Sir Ryan Armstrong, Knight of the Silver Arrows. So I will make sure he's on the birthday list and the bacon and bourbon. And if you can continue, that will be great.
Continue with John Fitzpatrick, 5510. And he says he's not overboard. Hugo Salgado, 5510. He's also on the No Agenda Roundtable. He's Bruce, I guess, is Sir Hugo. Bruce Klassen, 5510, Surprise Night of Astonishment, Yukon, Oklahoma. That's right. Dame Christina Pearl in Deputy, Indiana, 51. Indiana's got a lot of weird named towns. My favorite, of course, being Gnawbone. Scott Nelson in Council Bluffs, Iowa, which I visited. The following people are $50 donors, name and location. Richard Gardner, Aaron Weisgerber in Bend, Oregon, where there are a lot of homeless issues going on in Bend. I see photos. Matthew Dixon in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Chris Goodman in Leander, Texas. Dale Fitch in Hendersonville, North Carolina. Shane Morrison in Clark, New Jersey. Paul Dubois in Kirk Honkson, New York. And Tina Selby with a birthday for her husband, 50. Robert Drykosen, Sir Robert Drykosen, as I recall. Parts unknown, at least on this list. Josh Springer in Indianapolis, Indiana. S.J. Alexander in Commie, Seattle. I want to thank all these people for helping us on show 1403 and being producers and contributing and making the show happen.
Indeed.
It's all because of you.
And also because of those of you who came in under $50, it helps with the sustaining donations. You can find out all about those subscriptions if you go to
Dvorak.org/NA.
And a couple of jingles as requested.
Get vaccinated.
No.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Here's your list for today. Jasmine McMahon celebrated her 33rd on November 22nd. Aaron Boyorquez celebrates today. Tina Selby, happy birthday to her husband, Tylen Selby, 31 today. Maria Triantafili, her smoking hot husband, Mark Boucherl, December 1st. These names. Baron Robert Smiley turned 60. Jim Schneeberger says happy birthday to his wife, Marianne, Dame of Disaster. As we all know, she turns 20 today. And finally, Ryan Armstrong turns 40, about to be on the podium. Happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe.
It's your birthday, yeah.
And we go straight to our knightings. We've got two gents to bring up on stage. If you could
the two gents.
The two gents play. There it is. Ryan Armstrong, Jim Schneeberger, both of you are very welcome here on the podium. Next to the lectern, as you have supported the No Agenda show in the amount of $1,000 or more, I am extremely proud to pronounce-icate thee as Sir Ryan Armstrong, Knight of the Silver Arrows, and Sir Zimbabwe. For you, gents, we got Hookers and Blow, Ren Boys and Chardonnay, Biltong and Boers Wars, and Cold Castle Beer. And, of course, we need to have our bacon and bourbon, or our Dr. Pepper and a quick handy cold brew coffee and cannabis, onion rings and ice cream, English muffins with butter and honey, pepperoni rolls and pale ales, Rubenesque women and rosé, bong hits and bourbon, sparkling cider and escort, ginger ale and gerbils. And, yeah, mutton and meat. What's it to you? Everybody likes a little bit of mutton meat, and I'm sure you will enjoy that as you select your rings, your ring size at noagendanation.com/rings. Submit all that with the info, and we'll get it out to you as soon as possible. And thank you again. And welcome to the roundtable, you knights. Good to have you here.
No agenda meetups.
Yep, the No Agenda meetups are off the hook. There's just so much going on, so many meetups taking place, and I understand that Sir Daniel is even creating He has a whole new noagendameetups.com website. Have you seen it yet? I've only heard about it.
Nope.
I haven't seen it. So that just continues to expand. It's one of these great things that happens spontaneously in Gitmo Nation. Just like our search engines, Bingit.io, just like our entire website, like our infrastructure. This is why we are who we are and why you support us. And it goes all the way from the hill country in Texas to Sydney, Australia.
In the morning.
Hi, it's Phil from Warramoo. My cider scored 8 out of 10.
Sir Ned of the Convict Broadcasts, checking in.
Sir Chris, the drunkard minstrel, and I am sober. Surprise.
Yes.
This is Nathan at the Sydney meetup.
This is Huey from New South Wales, the prison state.
This is Sir Brendan at the Sydney meetup in the morning or in the afternoon.
This is Declan at the Sydney Freedom meetup in the morning.
Okay, things are getting pretty bad down under there, obviously. The kids are flipping out. Let's check out Oregon, Local 33.
Hey, this is Tim at Oregon Local 33, celebrating our freedom from outdoor mask mandate. Wait a minute, we had an outdoor mask mandate?
Baroness Susan.
Terry, please sanitize.
This is Lisa. Glad to be here.
Hey, this is Mel, your FMP. My boyfriend broke up with me and stranded me in Portland.
Oh, no!
Good news is I already have friends here. Thanks, No Agenda.
Hey, I'm Mel's new friend, Lonnie O'Connell. This is my first meetup.
Berkeley and Lindsay.
Hey, that's, did you hear this? Millennial Mel. The
What
one.
was it?
Remember she was in, where was she? She was traveling all around the world, and then she went to Oregon with her boyfriend.
Oh, that's right.
Millennial
she
Mel.
went everywhere. She was she was floating around.
Yeah, and so now the guy ditched her? What an idiot.
Friends here. Thanks, No Agenda.
Hey, I'm Mel's new friend, Lonnie O'Connell. This is my first meetup.
Berkeley and Lindsay here, third meetup, keeping that amygdala shrunken.
This is Scott in Portland. I'm at the best meetup in the universe.
This is Charles in Portland in the morning.
This is Marcos in Portland. My first meetup. I got punched in the mouth by Sally. I know you're listening. Hi. Glad to be here. Thanks, Tim.
This is Max in Wastelandia. Just here to get an amygdala tuna.
Kevin in Portland. I've been listening to you since, Ron Paul and Gold. I forget how long ago that was. In the morning.
Rachel at her first meetup, and so nice to see like-minded people without masks and smiles. So thank you for your courage.
This is Joe in Portland. I was hit in the mouth by Daniel years ago. Daniel, if you're listening to this, hit me up.
Thank you for your courage, most esteemed patriarchs. This is Cloud from the Dirty Huge. I came 2 hours up here to see how the city mice run things, and it's like a party.
Big group. Good group, too. I had a good time there. Here's what's coming up for today. Meetup-wise, the FEMA Region 9 first monthly meetup takes place at 2 o'clock Pacific time, the Santa Maria Brewing Company in Atascadero, California. The Thankful for No Agenda 505 meetup is just about kicking off in New Mexico, Albuquerque at Urban 360 Pizza. Go say hi to Sir Jeffrey Toeig for me. The Macomb, Michigan meetup, 7 o'clock in Manigan's Irish Hut in Mount Clemens, Michigan. That is also tonight. Then on Wednesday, the South Dakota, meetup, 6 o'clock Mountain Time, Lost Cabin Beer Company in Rapid City. We've got the Sega Saturn Worship Night, 7 o'clock at Barcade in Philadelphia. This is all Wednesday. Denver area biweekly Amygdala Exhibition, 6:30 at Hangar 101, Lakewood, Colorado. And then on show day, Thursday, December 2nd, Catskill Mountain Meetup, 6:30 at Rough Cut Brewing in Kirkonkston, New York. And the Great Perth Awakening, 7 o'clock Australian Western Time at Varsity Joondalup. And that is in Perth, I guess. It's interesting how when we first started the No Agenda Meetups, and this is before we had noagendameetups.com, we would rarely have something during the week. It would always be a Friday or a Saturday. Now it's almost every single day of the week. It's really incredible. And that's a testament to what's going on out there. You people need it. You're putting it together. We are the conduit. We love seeing this. No Agenda Meetups, noagendameetups.com. If you can't find one near you, start one.
Sometimes you want to go hang out with all the nights and days. You want to be where you won't be triggered or held to blame. You want to be where everybody feels the same.
By the Laptop. Dum-dum.
It's like a party.
ISOs.
I've only got the one.
Just the one. All right. I see it here. Here's your one.
More than a headline.
Oh, no. I got this kicked. Here's my first one. I just love that kid. But this one may top it.
Bye.
I think bye is for end of show. It's perfect.
Yeah, I think so too. Bye.
I have two clips.
Okay.
These are looking backward clips. These are from the beginning of the COVID. I'm doing a COVID put together and show.
Wait a minute. Wait. You get on the mic and say that again. You're doing
right
a what?
Here.
You're doing what?
A COVID put together. I'm doing an evergreen
put together
show.
Oh, an evergreen. Okay.
2 hours of clips.
Nice. When are we taking off? I'm so tired. I'm thinking around the mid-January.
This is 12 from show 1239. I got two clips.
Okay.
One, I'm going to play the short one first. This is Biden. I forgot all about this clip. This is one of his bumbles that we don't play much, and this is a early bumble from show 1239, which is in June, I think, of last 2020.
Are you at all concerned, as Trump said, that we cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself?
We have to take care of the cure. That will make the problem worse no matter what.
I'm sure we caught that.
Yeah, we did, but I've never revisited it. It's such a classic.
It's twisted is what it is. Let's just listen to the logic again, just so we understand. This is during the debate, correct?
Yeah, I think maybe, yeah.
Are you at all concerned, as Trump said, that we cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself?
We have to take care of the cure. That will make the problem worse no matter what.
Damn, man. I can't even bend my mind into thinking what it means.
And who would vote for him after that? All right. Same episode. This is another forgotten clip. This is a classic. This is longer. This is like 58 seconds, but it's well worth listening to. This is Alex Jones going nuts. This is during the lockdown when he said he was going to eat his neighbor.
I will eat my neighbors. I'm not letting my kids die. I'm just going to be honest. My superpower is being honest. I've extrapolated this out, and I won't have to for a few years since I got food and stuff, but I'm literally looking at my neighbors now and going, I'm ready to hang them up and gut them and skin them and chop them up. You know what? I'm ready. My daughters aren't starving to death. I'll eat my neighbors. See, my superpower is being honest. I'll eat your ass. I will. I'm combat model, optimum self-sufficiency, probably the leader. The point is have you thought about that yet? Because I'm somebody that thought I could fix this, and I'm starting to think about having to eat my neighbors. You think I like sizing up my neighbor, how I'm going to haul him up by a chain and chop his ass up? I'll do it. My children aren't going hungry. I will eat your ass. And that's why I want the globalists to know. I will eat your ass first.
Yeah, somehow it's not as funny as then.
Yeah, it was funnier when I first played it. You're right. Now it's kind of pathetic.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what to think of. I'm not quite sure why you played it.
Well, because I thought it was a good idea.
No, okay. Yeah, I'm just like, Well, I have one. I have one.
That was during the shut.
During the lockdown. I have one clip. It's just for my own satisfaction. I'm looking at Bitcoin right now, which I think it's kind of crashing out here, which to me means tomorrow's.
Buy.
Yes, buy the dip quickly. Here's Christine Lagarde, who was formerly of the International Monetary Fund. Now she is the head of the European Central Bank. It's such an easy transition to make. And I just love her. They don't really talk about Bitcoin anymore. They just lump it all into crypto. Well, crypto is a couple things, but it's one thing it's not.
So for hundreds of years, governments and central banks have issued currency, and the currency is used for things to buy things, sell things, and so forth, and to price assets. Now, some people have come along and invented various things called cryptocurrencies. central banks are trying to adjust to what that means for them. So do you think that cryptocurrencies are a plus for the global economy, or is it too early to tell?
Cryptos are not currencies. Full stop.
Full stop.
Cryptos are highly speculative assets that claim their fame as currency, possibly, but they're not. They are not.
It's shit.
I think we have to distinguish between cryptos that are those highly speculative.
Pieces of shit. Shit, merde.
Suspicious occasionally.
Suspicious.
And high intensity in terms of energy consumption assets, but they're not a currency. On the other hand, you have those stable coins that are beginning to proliferate, which some big techs are trying to promote and push along the way, which are a different animal and need to be regulated where there has to be oversight that corresponds to the business that they are actually conducting, irrespective of how they name themselves. And in all that, you have the central banks who are prompted by demand of customers to produce something that will make the central bank and central bank currencies fit for the century we're in, which is why we're now all looking at CBDC, central bank digital currencies, so that instead of having banknotes and cash in our pockets or in our wallet, we can have exactly the same thing, but in a digital form. So all of us are working on this, and certainly I was keen to push the CBDC issue on our agenda, because I believe that we have to stand ready for that.
I love how everyone just buys into this, that, yeah, we need digital cash. We don't have that. Huh? Venmo, anybody?
Oh, Venmo, nothing. Just a credit card.
PayPal? Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds
just
of...
Just a credit card. It's been around for 100 years. You take the credit card, you what do you think that is? They don't send it over in analog. It's digital from the get-go.
So here's a story. So, we are divesting from all these shitty-ass companies. We're trying to choose the least shitty to go with, and there's no winning, of course. So I really want to give up the Chase credit card. I only have one credit card, and you just need a credit card for a lot of stuff, particularly because it's got servers and all kinds of stuff on it. So we're like, okay, we go look, and really everything. MasterCard and Visa, they're real dicks. So we finally say, well, maybe we can do American Express. I was like, no. I can't get an American Express, and the reason why is when we left for the Netherlands in 1999. I had do you remember the American Express Centurion card?
Vaguely.
It was like
a credit card.
Yeah, it was a credit card, exactly. I guess there was a balance of $125 on it. And of course, I left the country, and it was unpaid for 10 years. And
you'll never get a card from them.
Well, I tried a couple times in the past. And so finally, Tina says, well, let's just try it. And so I get approved. And my card shows up. You know what those a-holes put on it? Card member since 88. They'd literally blocked me from ever having a card again. But now they just put me on as, member since 88.
Well, that's interesting.
Not really.
Well, I don't think it's a big deal. If they lied about it, card says 1903, who cares? Yeah. Not like anyone's looking at it going, ooh, card since 88.
I know.
You're special. You're special.
I'm special.
Come on, Mr. Curry, you get a front seat.
So we're leaving Chase. We're going to the community bank here in the Hill Country. Right. Yeah, of course. That we're really going to, and really trying to minimize on Amazon and all that stuff. Screw these guys. Screw them. And meat. We're getting our meat direct from K&C Cattle now.
Good.
Yeah. And with that, I would like everyone to know that we have Darren O'Neill coming up next on NoAgendaStream.com with random thoughts. Also, 2 end-of-show mixes. Sound guy Steve back after a while with a really depressing mix. I'll play that one first. Followed by a real uppity beat. If you want some trance, stay tuned for the uppity. Sorry. I can't help it, as from the meeting last night. The clip custodian, Neil Jones, brings us a short but very transy track. And I'm coming to you from the heart of Texas Hill Country. It's still located in FEMA Region number 6. please remember us at Dvorak.org/NA for our show on Thursday in the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I remain. The weather is nice. I'm John C. Dvorak.
Again, please meet us here for the next episode, 1404 of the best podcast in the universe. And remember us. Support us, value for value, at Dvorak.org/NA. Until Thursday, adios, mofos, and such.
Because I have my own show, I have a responsibility to say things that people need to know that aren't being said. It's a cool opportunity that I don't take lightly. There are very big, obvious truths that no one wants to say on TV, but I will.
Prominent leftists around the country are losing their minds over the verdict.
Gun laws helped to enhance the design to allow this verdict to happen today. This country was built on the idea that white men had a particular kind of freedom and a particular kind of citizenship that only they have.
When you look at the broad message that came out of this, is they have said now that vigilantes can go to protest and kill people.
His bail money was raised by the Proud Boys, the Ku Klux Klan, the Nazis, the skinheads. Are they plugged up in this courtroom?
The angry mob didn't get its way. So, time to blame the judge, who's a Democrat. Time to blame racism. Kyle didn't shoot anybody black.
It is now open season, and white nationalists and domestic terrorists across this country are high-fiving.
The media coverage has been disgusting from beginning to end. It mirrored an original narrative, which the Kyle Rittenhouse must have been some sort of white supremacist Trump supporter.
What I am concerned about is the precedent this sets for what people will believe that they can do under law when Black Lives Matter protests happen in the future.
Rittenhouse's case garnered national attention, dividing Americans over whether he was doing the right thing or acting as a reckless vigilante.
It's not okay for a man to grab a rifle, travel across state lines, and shoot 3 people and then walk free.
LeVar Burton says, "Tell me again, there are not 2 kinds of justice in America." Andy Cohen didn't mince words, simply asking, what in the actual
Someone like Jacob Rittenhouse is not guilty on all verdicts when he shot 2 people and went across state lines and used a violent weapon.
I think that many of us are far more concerned about what the broad message this verdict gives than to arguing what the legal experts ought to argue.
The justice system did its job today in Kenosha.
I don't think there's much question that obviously the jury bought the self-defense claim. But I do want to say, at the end of the day, I really think this turned on the judge.
Well, look, I stand by what the jury has concluded. The jury system works, and we have to abide by it.
Hey, guys.
Push me, and then just touch me, till I can get my no agenda.
Push me, and then just touch me, till I can get my no agenda.
No agenda.
No agenda. No agenda. No agenda. No agenda.
The best podcast in the universe.
Mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Bye!